tastes extra vodka. It's weird.
Hello and welcome to Secular Views Shethinkers, where secular girls geek out and justifiably rage about today's news. I'm your host, Dory Mooneyham, joined by my co-host, Shayra Akers.
Hello.
And the Dirty Nerdy.
Hi.
Tonight we'll be discussing the week's news, as well as the fear of science, how poor education in science opens the door for homeopathy, anti-vaccinators, and other bullshit. For reals this time. We'll also select our troll of the week, our boss of the week, and a new segment, book reviews.
Yay! Although, why is it plural? You're only doing one book review.
Well, there's going to be multiple book reviews, not this week.
So you're saying there'll be multiples?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted you to say that.
Oh, okay. I promise. For our first news story this week, Malayla, I have a really hard time saying her name, Malayla Yousafzai, maybe? I'm probably butchering it. The Pakistani girl who was shot by the Taliban for wanting girls to be able to get an education, got to open a new library this week in England. She's got a pretty awesome quote, too. When she was giving her opening speech at the dedication, she said, "Speak up for the children of Pakistan, India, and Afghanistan who are suffering from terrorism, poverty, child labor, and child trafficking. Let us help them to read books and go to school. And let us not forget that even one book, one pen, one child, and one teacher can change the world." Like a boss.
Yeah, she is a boss. If we didn't have so many boss candidates this week, I would have said she's the boss this week.
Right?
Is it me? Sorry, I'm trying to actually post to our page that we're doing a show too. Multitasking.
She's just watching funny videos on YouTube. Don't believe her.
It has a cat. It's really cute. It's on one of those little...
Are you watching porn now? Damn it, Shayra.
You know me.
Not yet.
Okay, so apparently there's a serial rapist in Dallas, in the Fair Park area. And there's been 6 serial robberies and rapes that have taken place in Fair Park between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. since late June. The suspect is described as a black man, 25 to 30 years old, 200 pounds, and 5'6" to 5'11". He was last seen wearing a t-shirt, basketball shorts, and oval or round shaped glasses. He is known to cover his face with clothing during the attacks.
And there's been an update on that one. Apparently, a suspect has been brought in, but we don't know if it's actually the perpetrator or not. So, we'll keep you updated on that. Really, it's just for our Dallas listeners, but...
Yes. It's a good thing to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
I guess so. if that's really something you can keep an eye out for.
Don't go to Fair Park, I guess.
Don't go to Fair Park.
All right, don't go to Fair Park.
If you see someone with a shirt over his head, run. I don't know.
I think that's generally good advice.
If you see someone with a shirt covering their head, run. Okay.
Yeah, in Fair Park.
In Fair Park. Okay. All right. So a Mississippi town objects to a giant cross. Yeah, I know. In Mississippi.
How bad does it have to be when a Mississippi town says no, not that cross?
No.
Why do I not have that as a drop yet?
I don't know. You're slacking.
I know.
You're slacking. All right. So in Brandon, Mississippi, the First Baptist Church of Brandon planned to construct an 11-story tall cross. 11-story? How many feet is that? What the hell?
It's 110 feet tall.
Holy shit. They plan to construct an 11-story tall cross along I-20, but they were denied by the Brandon City Planning Commission. The commission said the cross is considered an auxiliary structure, and thus, under the town's laws, the cross can only be 20 feet high.
And, 20 feet high is clearly not big enough for a cross.
Yes, clearly.
I have seen a really giant cross before, by the way. When I was driving up to Lawrence, Kansas, there was a huge cross. So.
It was probably done by the same organization that approached the church. It's
Yeah.
called
Hi, we
Crosses
make giant
Across
crosses.
America. Apparently they just make giant crosses.
I mean, how hard is it to put one stick perpendicular to another stick a little more than halfway up?
I think the one
The
we
first
saw had
one.
like a blue glowing light all around the rims of it, and like it was pretty extravagant giant cross.
The cross had glowing rims. Did they spin too?
I guess it's a
spinning and they're spinning and they're spinning.
I guess it's a good thing we don't have to worry about, starving children or anything, right?
Oh no.
Yeah,
no.
good thing there's no one in the world who actually needs that money.
Our offering goes to a giant cross. It doesn't really do anything.
So the pastor at the church said they were led by the Holy Spirit to seek a location in Mississippi. 92,000 cars a day travel along the Interstate 20 corridor. Those are people who need hope, who need inspiration. And I'm just wondering, who in fucking Mississippi hasn't heard of Jesus?
Well, the other thing is I'm trying to imagine the person driving in traffic and like, oh, I'm so upset. Holy crap, that giant cross just helped me. If it was any smaller, I would not have had any
If
hope.
that was only a 20-story cross, then
I would just
would-
keep worshiping Satan.
yeah, I would just drive my car off the side of the road and then worship Satan.
Oh, boy.
Brandon,
The mayor of Brandon.
the mayor of Brandon, Butch Lee, it looked like his name,
I
Brandon
know,
Mayer.
because
I mean,
Brandon, I know, it's confusing.
Anyways, Butch Lee, the mayor of Brandon, said the tallest structure in the city is 2 stories. The cross is 11 stories.
Really?
And I was just like, if your holy relic or whatever is able, if it were to fall over and crush everything in your town, then it's too big. That's
Yeah.
that's how I feel about it.
How bad is it when Mississippi says your cross is too big? Mississippi is like, no, dog, you need to go somewhere else with that thing.
Yeah, that thing's too big.
That's like Texas saying your truck is too big. Sorry, man. That
You
truck
have
is
a
just
really
too big.
truck.
You need to dial that back a notch. Speaking of Jesus, I guess. I don't know. I'm shitty at segues.
Say segue, that's what I do.
Segway.
We'll do it live.
So apparently in Massachusetts, the Pledge of Allegiance is being challenged in their Supreme Court. The plaintiffs are anonymous because they don't want their kid getting harassed and bullied or having death threats sent to them, like has happened in the past. They're being represented by David Neos, who's the former president of the American Humanist Association. Unlike past cases where it's been argued that the Pledge of Allegiance violates the separation of church and state, they're actually going with a different route this time, and they're arguing that it violates the Equal Rights Amendment of the Massachusetts Constitution. So it's a discrimination issue and not a separation of church and state issue. So it might actually have a better shot because the separation issues never worked before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is, in a way, attacking people who are different.
Yeah.
Not wanting to do
Yeah.
that, so...
Their representative actually has a quote that says, "It validates believers as good patriots, and it invalidates atheists as non-believers at best and unpatriotic at worst."
Yep.
Yeah, when I was growing up, I mean, I was a theist, I was a Christian, but for other reasons, just really because I thought it was creepy, I didn't want to say the pledge. So, but I didn't know that I didn't have to. Like, no teacher ever tells you that you don't have to say the pledge.
Yeah.
They never spell out your rights like that. So unless at home your parents have told you that you don't have to, an elementary school kid thinks that they have to.
Well, not only that, I have told my child she doesn't have to, but she still does it because she doesn't want to make a spectacle of herself.
Exactly.
There's a lot of social pressure to do it.
Like, I remember...
Well, she doesn't actually say it. She just stands and moves her mouth. And
Yeah.
she's
That's
like,
what I
whatever.
always did until I was in junior high, and I never actually said the pledge. I couldn't even remember what the words were. As a 5th grader, I could not recite the words the Pledge of Allegiance because I never said them. I was like, this feels creepy. Like, I had no real reason. It was vaguely made me feel uncomfortable, so I didn't want to say it. And then one day at my elementary school, I guess they picked names out of a hat. for which student leads.
Oh, no.
And they picked me one morning, and I was terrified, and I was almost in tears when I got down there, and they were like, what's wrong? And I was just like, I'm nervous. What if I mess up? They're like, here's the words right here, sweetie. It's okay. And so I was like, oh, good.
That's all I needed.
Everyone's gonna talk over you. It's cool.
I didn't know they had words there, and
I
so
know.
I was scared.
I went to a Christian school, and they had all Christian curriculum, and they had a Christian history book that taught us about how the founding fathers were all
Did
Christian.
you have to say the pledge to the Bible and the pledge to the Christian flag?
Yes, and I actually
Oh my
still know
God.
it
Yeah,
by
because
heart.
there's the Christian
Holy
flag pledge,
shit.
which is even creepier.
The Christian flag and the Bible pledge. It was really messed up when Seth Andrews did his speech over at the atheist. What is it? AA. That's how I always remember it because
Y'all need to go to AA.
which will be in Salt Lake
We love
City
you,
next
Beth
year.
Presswood.
I really hope Beth Presswood listens to this. Somebody send this directly to her right now.
We gave her a shout out. But
Listen
Seth
to Godless
Andrews-
Bitches.
Yay, Godless Bitches.
Yes, listen to that.
I may be a guest on there soon, so listen to Godless Bitches.
Yeah, that'll be good. Seth Andrews, yeah. Seth Andrews did a speech over at AA, and he was talking about the indoctrination of children. He was talking about the different pledges that they do, and he did the pledge allegiance to the flag, the pledge allegiance to the Bible, and the pledge allegiance to the Christian flag. And I was saying it word for word, and Daniel's face was priceless. He kept looking at me like, "Stop, stop! You're in a cult." I'm like, "No, this is what we memorized."
I think the only vivid time I remember seeing or hearing about the Pledge of Allegiance to the Bible and the Christian flag, maybe it was introduced to me at different times in my life, but the only time I remember was going with, I don't even remember what this deal was. It was like our youth group was split into junior high and high school, and the junior high youth group was going to some Wednesday night thing at some other church. And I remember we ate, it was like a dinner. And I remember before eating dinner, we did a prayer, like a long prayer. I was fucking hungry, and I was like, get the hell, finish this goddamn prayer.
That's always what irritated me about prayers before meals.
They would do a prayer, and then they were like, now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I was like, what the fuck? So I stand.
You just start eating.
And this is when I was in like 6th grade, and I just learned curse words. So I was swearing under my breath every time.
Wait, you didn't know curse words until the 6th grade?
I knew them, but I didn't feel comfortable saying them.
Okay, I was just making sure.
I didn't feel comfortable making sex jokes till I was in 5th grade, so whatever.
It took me a lot longer to be comfortable with
Is that too old or too young?
I don't know. I was in a bubble
It's the
my whole
age
life.
that you did it. There's nothing right or wrong about it, damn it.
Awesome. Anyways, so like, then they were like, stand for the pledge. So I'm like, God damn it, I hate doing this in school, and I hate doing it now. So I did the pledge, and then they were like, no, the Texas pledge. I'm like, what, seriously?
You're like, what the fuck is a Texas pledge?
We had to do the Texas pledge in school too. Shut up, Daniel.
Daniel, you're not part of the show.
There's a Texas pledge?
There is.
Why would you pledge to Texas?
I don't know.
We never pledged to California, not that I know of.
Because it's Texas, damn it. I'm really terrible
Deep
at doing
in the
Southern
heart of
accents.
Texas.
Wow, you guys suck at being Texans.
That's a story for later on. We'll tell that
Yeah.
when it
What,
gets
the
close
Pee Wee
to
Herman
Skepticon.
story?
Oh, Skepticon.
No, I'm not done with my story, damn it. Okay, so then we do the Texas pledge, and then they're like, all right, now we're going to pledge to the Christian flag. And I was like, there's a Christian flag? Really?
Yeah.
How
It's
many
red, white,
goddamn
blue,
pledges
too,
do
of
we
course.
have?
It was really annoying. And the only other thing I remember from this, like, weird dinner meeting thing, I don't even know if there was, like, a sermon or anything. I just remember we ate. We did 5 million pledges and prayers before we ate. And at the end, we got a little New Testament Bible. It was only the New Testament.
Did they also give you a microwave so you could reheat your food?
No.
That
Our food
sucks.
wasn't even out yet. We had, like,
Oh.
silverware and water or something. So, it was stupid. Anyways, segue. Unless anybody will add more things to say about
Oh, well,
that.
there was an extra addition to this story. So apparently, Dana Perino, Fox News host and former press secretary under W, said on her show, "I'm tired of atheists. I remember working at the Justice Department years ago when I first started right after 9/11, gratuitous edition of 9/11.
9/11.
Gratuitous mention of 9/11.
And a lawsuit like this came through, And before the day had finished, the United States Senate and the House of Representatives had both passed resolutions saying they were for keeping under God in the pledge. If these people really don't like it, they don't have to live here.
Actually, no, Dana Perino. Nobody has to say the pledge, so fuck you. That's all that needs to be said to her.
It's really true. But the other thing is I really hate that argument. If you don't like it, then move. What are they complaining about 24/7 all the time?
Right.
They're bitching and complaining. Why don't you move? We never use that
Why
argument.
don't you
'cause we're
move?
not, kindergartners. So, it's I hate that argument. Just move. No, how about I change things? Like all of the great civil rights leaders of our past. I don't
Well,
know.
that's what they say to everybody who wants to change things. Well, if you don't like it, move. I'm like, well, that place isn't any better.
Right? What did you expect? That's another one, right?
Yeah. I hate that. What did you
can't
expect?
change anything.
Like, wait a minute. So, if it's a one-time thing that I shouldn't expect, then I shouldn't be upset because it only happened one time. But if it's something that's a pattern that happens all the time that pisses me off, then I shouldn't be pissed off because I should expect it. Shouldn't I be more pissed off at the fact that it happens more often?
Right.
At the fact that it happens frequently enough that you should expect it?
No, you're supposed to get
hate
used
that.
to it and just let it happen and not say anything at all, especially
What,
if
you're
you're
supposed
a
to
woman.
lie back and think of England?
Yep.
No, America.
Oh.
America.
America.
High fives.
So speaking of America and world police, Syria's not in our little news thing, but fuck, I don't want to go to Syria. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat.
I don't even know much about the conflict, but I'm pretty much a pacifist and against
I'm against war
in general.
pretty much
so,
always.
yeah.
I don't see how killing Syrians in order to teach them that killing Syrians is wrong is going to accomplish anything.
I don't have a link to it, but I know Mallory Nasrallah, how do you say her name? I think she's over it. Like, she has a blog. Anyone recognize
Keep
her? Okay, well, she's an ex-Muslim, and she's actually she grew up in America, but her family is from Syria, and she has
She went after McCain, right? Was that chick that talked to him and said, "Don't go to Syria"?
No. She
Oh.
has a blog, and she recently shared a friend of hers who's living in Syria right now wrote to her and said, "Hey, you can publish this." And he was basically telling America, "Stay out of Syria because you're just going to end up hurting us. You're just going to hurt us more." And especially after reading those words from somebody who's right there in the thick of it. I mean, I guess there are probably others in Syria who would disagree with this person, but I say stay out.
That's what happens every time. Like, I don't mind if we go and give assistance to people who actually fucking ask for it, but they haven't asked for it. They didn't ask us to go in and play world police. Why is that such a damn difficult concept for us to learn?
I don't have a problem offering aid to other places like medical, food, water, stuff like that, and having the military there as a presence to protect that, to make sure that that aid isn't attacked. But I do have especially since they're like, oh, well, we're just going to do airstrikes. Like, yeah, since your airstrikes have been so reliable in the past.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, no. Ugh.
Yeah, it's a frustrating topic, and I know it gets very controversial, but my go-to is please don't blow innocent people up. That's always going to be my response.
My go-to with every conflict is no.
Are they on our shores?
I'm already against the next war. Like, that's just...
And the war after that, and probably the war after that.
Really, I think the only
Unless aliens who are very, very scary, like an Independence Day, come around and they're like, no, we're just going to kill all you guys, then I'll be like, okay, world, let's get together and make sure these guys don't blow us up. But that's the only war I'll probably back, and I doubt that's going to ever happen.
Yeah, I'm like, unless they have, like, boots on the ground in the U.S., I'm like, no. Send them the aid that they need, food, medical, water, what have you. Help the refugees who want to leave the country, but no, don't send in airstrikes and shit like that. I'm not for that. Anyways, what's next?
Okay, and here's some redundant news in a way. A Tulsa school sends girl home because dreadlocks and afros are too distracting. If this sounds familiar, the same exact shit happened last year in another state where they said that little girls could not have afro puffs in their hair.
Well, and we just had a story 2 weeks ago about black women getting their hair searched by the TSA.
Yeah, we did.
What the hell?
Why are people obsessed with black hair?
I don't know. And what's
It's
annoying,
hair.
what was really annoying was that they said, and other faddish hairstyles, afros and dreadlocks are not fucking fad.
Right?
Fads.
That's how they
That's
keep
not
their
what they
hair
are.
under control.
It's how some black people choose to wear their hair
Right.
in a way that's they're better able to control it. And I understand. I have super frizzy hair. If I could
Yeah.
pick it out into an afro and it would look good on me, I would. But it does not look good on me.
You're like,
so-
wait, I've tried that though.
No,
It doesn't
no.
work. I just don't get it because there are so many different hairstyles that little girls have worn their hair as
Yeah.
pigtails, braids. There was the beehive that was popular in high school back in like the 60s that you could have hidden stuff in or that might have been quote unquote distracting.
Well, yeah,
Nobody
they-
went after that. Like,
I don't know. And what really bothers me is that her dad is a hairstylist. He does her hair
Right.
specifically
that's
so
really
that it
kind of
looks nice.
adorable.
And she wore her hair in these hairstyles all last year. She did it for a whole year, and no one said shit about it. And now they're saying, no, you can't have that.
Are they like
Well,
dyed purple or?
And they
No.
and they told her that she didn't look presentable, which is just fucking terrible to tell. What is
They-
she, 7 years old?
Seven.
7?
7.
You don't tell a 7-year-old that.
Yeah, it's really not okay.
No. If you must say something like that, you say that to the parents, not to the child.
I'm a rebellious parent personally because I remember when Kylie was in first grade, about that age. For picture day, I let her put the pink hair little strips in her hair. So they weren't allowed, but on picture day, I was like, no, I'm gonna let Kylie look like Kylie for her school picture.
Mhm.
Right.
So I let her wear those pink little things.
Those are
in
the only
there.
professional pictures most parents get
Right.
during
Yeah.
most of the
And
time.
you spend money on it. So
Uh-huh.
she had her pink hair in there, and I don't care. Like,
You
Well,
know,
and it's
try
your
to go
fucking
away.
money. You're paying for the
Yeah.
picture.
Right.
So, whatever.
What I do know, and what I've noticed recently, especially since my nieces have gone into school and everything, and you know how they have I pretty much hate dress codes to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, if you're gonna have a dress code, just have a uniform. That's how I feel about it.
I agree
It's
too.
easier.
Yeah, it's
Parents
easier.
don't have to
It's
worry
fair.
about. Parents don't have to go out and buy clothes and then realize that all of it is out of uniform, and
Yeah.
it makes it more fair, and it's usually cheaper.
Yeah.
I feel like it helps people who are in lower economic families, and that way there's less stratification.
although
it's still there, but
Still there.
it's a lot less than it would be
It's
otherwise.
not as obvious.
Although we did watch an episode of Doctor Who, or the fairy episode,
Yeah.
where they were all wearing uniforms, and like these girls were picking on this other little girl, and they were able to hide in the other group, and the teacher was like, "Which ones did it?"
Oh.
and couldn't figure it out because they're all wearing the same.
Well, I guess
thing.
the girl who was being picked on could have told.
she
Right.
didn't. She didn't want to tell.
Yeah,
them,
that's true.
So
No.
But I mean, I've noticed though that all those stupid slut-shaming rules about girls' clothes that are only referred to as girls' clothes. They don't.
right.
They do it very gendered. They're like, girls can't have shorts above this length or whatever.
You never hear that with guys.
They never say that to guys, and
Oh,
I tell the guys
I
they
do
have
all the time because I have gay kids.
Oh,
at
yeah.
work.
Oh,
You do.
Like I have a special.
I get to hear those stories.
But you almost never hear it with guys. And
in the school dress codes.
you know what I
Yeah.
found out?
Hmm.
Even like kindergarten and first grade have rules like that.
Yeah.
Girls' shorts can't be like below a certain length, or I don't know what the correct thing to
understand
say is.
safety things because
I understand safety.
Because Kylie was told she couldn't wear flip flops because
Yeah.
the kids were running
And
and
that's
tripping
fine.
and falling on
I'm
the
fine
I
floor.
with
totally
that.
get that.
That I'm fine with, but other
But
things
they
I
were
just don't
telling
get.
little girls that they can't wear tank tops, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
And it's hot. In
It's
Texas.
hot outside.
fucking hot. And plus, my mom is a teacher. I don't remember if she teaches either kindergarten, first or second grade. I think she's taught one of each by now. I don't remember. But young kids,
Babies.
and she's had to send some of them to the kids that she knows the parents cannot afford to buy them new clothes. She'll let it
Yep.
slide a couple of times just because she's able to. But she's like, it seems like that's all they have to wear for summer is tank tops, and it's not allowed. And if I don't send them to the principal's office and the principal sees it, then she gets in trouble. And
One
it's,
thing I don't understand
it's
is
so ridiculous.
why are shoulders so sexy all of a
I
sudden?
don't
to school
know.
people?
That's what I don't understand.
why are shoulders sexy?
I don't
Spaghetti
understand it.
straps aren't allowed. Why? Who's getting turned on by shoulders?
I'm
I don't know who
showing
these
too
people
much
are.
neck and shoulder.
Well, the thing is like, you can get tank tops that are spaghetti strapped that still let your armpits breathe, that are still high up and don't
right.
show off any of your chest.
I have
that
plenty
can't
of
be an
tank tops.
excuse.
I have plenty of tank tops like that.
Right.
If they don't want to show cleavage, then just say no cleavage.
Right.
Right?
And I would
Although
be fine with
then that
Then
you
there's
know,
first
then that's
graders on
shitty
the
for larger chested
Yeah, that's
girls.
true. Larger chest. I used to work at a church nursery, and they
I don't
had
think
to.
there's large-chested girls in first grade though. Like,
That's
I mean, if
true.
you're
Well, no,
first grade-
but I'm saying by the
But
time
when
you
they
get to high
junior
school,
high,
yeah,
they're gonna have to change the rules a little.
But
no cleavage.
I've
Fuck,
already-
man, I can't not have cleavage. Fuck you.
I had these things. They want to say hello.
I've already decided with my kids that if they pull that shit, I'll just be like, nope, they're going to school dressed as this because it's 107 degrees outside. So fuck you.
Yeah.
Why are they
I
dressed
will,
that way? Because it's fucking Texas in the
hot.
summer.
But
I would let them go to school naked if it was legal and they were comfortable with it.
pretty much.
You can't do your mathematics and let someone have their shoulders exposed. You're the one with the problem.
Well,
not
and
the
that's what's
person
so
exposing their
stupid is
shoulders.
that's always their excuse is, oh, it's too distracting. We need them to focus on learning.
Too distracting for who?
Yeah,
Who's distracted?
because
I wanna
it
know.
seems to me that the adults, the administration, and to a lesser extent the teachers, I know a lot of them are just as irritated by dress code as parents and kids are, because that's not what they signed up to be teachers for,
Yeah.
to police clothing.
It's like, fuck
But-
it, I'll just go
You
to
know what
college.
distracted
There's no-
me all the time were like the posters with cats on it that were like, look at me at school, it's cool. Like those.
Or,
I would stare at all
those
the time.
like really old ones from the 80s with Garfield on them that are
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
in school.
And you would just sit there and go, why is this on the wall? You know this has been here for like
It's like the
15
predecessor.
years.
Those cat posters in class were like the predecessor to memes. That's why when our generation grew up and invented the internet,
It was all about cats.
this
all
is
conspiracy.
this is all historically accurate.
Icon
everybody.
has cheeseburgers.
Icon has cheeseburgers is because of those cat posters.
This was a
at school.
historical
And
reference
it's
brought to you by Dirty Nerdy.
And it was because they were too distracted, so they didn't learn proper grammar, and that's why cat memes can't speak proper English.
Yep.
This. Oh my god, this makes perfect sense.
Hooray! This is a very valid conspiracy theory.
Okay.
So how do you segue? How do we segue?
Segue.
Okay.
All right. So this really awful person, or at least in this respect, she's awful. I don't know.
Oh,
what
are we
her
at, are we at Trolls of the Week now?
No, not quite. We're
I,
not.
I think we are, because I think this bitch is a troll of the week.
Well, it doesn't say troll of the week on it.
Oh, Shayra started the troll of the week.
Oh,
She just didn't tell us.
Oh.
Shayra.
Wait, that was a troll?
Yeah,
That
the
was one of
school-
our trolls of the week.
The
Oh.
school's the troll.
I apologize.
Okay.
All right. So the first troll of the week candidate is the
Is the school district.
school
district,
administrators
Tulsa.
or whoever.
The Tulsa
It's-
School District.
It's the Deborah Brown Community School in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Fuck you, Deborah Brown Community School.
You're not
Yeah.
the boss of me.
I can
They're
have
the boss
Afro
of that little
puffs.
girl, though.
Yeah.
It's sad.
I think we should all wear Afro puffs sometime this week.
Icon has afro.
Yeah.
I don't.
If I get off work for the Pride Parade, I'm totally doing that.
Sweet.
I don't know how though.
Yeah,
so
I don't think
somebody
we
do it.
could, Dory, but
No.
Okay,
you
so-
might be able to pull it off.
Next troll of the week, Kim Hall. Oh my God, this
Which
is
you tore to shreds.
Oh my goodness. Her little blog. I swear, nobody before this week heard of her blog except for maybe her church. And what was her blog called? Whatever. I don't
Oh,
know.
it's FYI if you're a teenage girl.
No, I meant her actual blog.
Oh, who
name.
gives a shit?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
We're not going to plug
We're
that.
not promoting her.
Whatever.
Fuck that bitch.
Anyways, she wrote a blog post titled "FYI if you're a teenage girl," and it was a creepy Facebook stalking, slut shaming post directed at teenage girls who show, I guess, more body than she thinks is okay on
Yeah.
Facebook. Well, she felt the full force of the internet as a result.
You came to the wrong internet.
I swear, I was. Well, because of school, I haven't had too much time, and so I kind of worked on a response to her, like, all week, and I finally got it out today?
Yeah.
Friday? Yeah, I finally got it out today, but as I was doing it, I think there's like 20 other responses. I know Jezebel has a response. I linked to 2 of them. on the blog.
You have almost 1,000 likes on that blog, by the way.
Wow.
Shit.
Yeah.
People like when I make fun of slut shaming.
Basically.
Awesome.
Popular topic.
So, a good quote from her post, not mine. I don't have any quotes for mine. Go read it.
Yeah. We'll post the link up.
Yeah.
Go read
Okay.
it.
Read it.
Those posts don't... I'm sorry. Post in this is referencing Facebook posts, just so everybody knows.
She's talking about the teenage
Yeah.
girls' picture posts that they're putting up.
She said, those posts don't reflect who you are! ! We think you are lovely and interesting, and usually, very smart. But we had to cringe and wonder what you were trying to do. Who are you trying to reach? What are you trying to say? A few things. You're probably wondering why she used we there. Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Apparently, after dinner, she and her 3 boys, was it 3 or 4? 3
It's
boys?
her 3 boys and
her
youngest
daughter.
daughter.
Her husband might be there. I don't know. She didn't mention him much.
Well, he
Maybe she doesn't
matter.
have a husband because she's a fucking creep.
No, she does. She mentioned him at some point, but she didn't, mention him a lot. Well, as a family, they get together and look through each other's Facebooks. And they stalk the teenage girls. And they look through all their photos, not just the ones that appear in the feed, I guess. I don't know how else they would find every photo that those girls had.
They have to be Facebook stalking their
Yeah.
female friends.
They're Facebook stalking their female
As a
friends.
family.
As a family.
family.
And then they sit down and critique it together and decide whether or not they should be wearing a bra in that photo or whether or not their lips are too pouty. It's fucking creepy as hell. And she even said at one point, if you're friends with the Hall boys, you're friends with the Hall family. And I just have to say, no, you're not.
No,
You're
that's
not.
not how things work.
You
I'd be
don't
like-
get to be friends with your kids' friends. That's not how that works.
You need to go make your own friends, bitch.
Yeah.
You need to
And
have
then
your
go-
own life,
And then go
your
stalk
own
their
friends,
page.
and then you could go Facebook stalk them, and then slut shame them if you want to. Although
And
you
then
shouldn't.
lose them as
and
friends.
then lose them as friends.
I think
Because what she's basically teaching her kids is, here's how you don't act like an adult. Here's how you act like a child and try to police the internet, which is an impossible thing
Well,
to
and
do.
not only that, but she's teaching the boys that they're not responsible for their own sexual feelings. That it's the girls posing
Hey, are you
that's
hard?
responsible
You
for
shouldn't
it.
be friends with her.
Yeah. Oh no, did your dick get hard? It's because she's an evil harlot, not because you're a teenage boy.
I mean, their dicks get hard in history class and shit.
I'm gonna say
I don't
their
even-
dicks get hard when a stiff breeze blows. It doesn't have anything to do with it.
I mean, I would have had.
Well,
I swear.
they need to unfriend the breeze.
You cannot be friends with that stiff breeze, sir.
That's why they call
But
it stiff.
It's stimulating.
No, guys. The best part, I think, is that sprinkled, I guess randomly, throughout the post are pictures of her boys
Who are half naked.
out on the beach half naked.
Right. Looking at the sunset or posing
And
flexing
posing.
muzzles.
Not only are they half naked on the beach, but they're striking sexy poses on the beach.
It's very
and she
inappropriate.
doesn't see the fucking
Yeah.
irony.
And then what the funny part is, I read all the comments, and most of them agreed with her, but what's great is that they were all, as far as I know, they were all mothers commenting.
Yeah.
I guess that's who normally reads her
One
blog.
person decided to go away from the flock and be like, wait a second, these photos are
It wasn't one
interesting."
person. It was
Well, later
multiple
on.
people.
I looked at the
Somebody
comments.
let it slip.
Right, there was a bunch of comments where it was all positive, and then one person was like, this is interesting, and then it turned into full on, no, this is wrong.
You're
I don't
bad and you should feel bad.
Yeah. What's funny is I read through every single comment that agreed with her, and a good number of them pointed out the hypocrisy there. And the best part is that many of them said, now, I just want to say I love your post, and I wanted to read it with my daughters, but now I have to read it out loud to them because the pictures of your sons will distract them.
Their boobies are not good for my daughters.
Their man boobs aren't good.
And they're striking sexually suggestive poses.
Yeah, I mean, they got their arms up, flexing muscles.
It's okay though because everyone knows that girls don't have sex drives at all.
Yeah, girls don't.
Yeah, girls.
And if they display any type of sexualness, That came out all wrong. Sexuality.
Sexuality.
There you go. I've had
Yay.
something to drink tonight. If they display their sexuality at all, then they're just whores, and you should unfriend them.
Right, they're only trying to tempt
You're
men.
just being a whore bag on the internet.
Here's the thing. I took a lot of pictures of myself when I was younger, and the reason behind it was I knew that this was probably the best my body was ever going to look, and I wanted proof that that's the best my body had ever looked. But here's the weird thing that happened with me, and this just means that I'm a freak. I have pictures of me when I was 13 in a bikini. Daniel did not know I was 13 in it. He thought it was a recent picture. So
That's
apparently,
creepy. Daniel, you're a creep.
Yeah, you're a creep. But my body hasn't
Did
changed.
Daniel go, she looked 18, I swear.
He thought it was a recent
Well,
picture. But,
Shayra's older than he is, so
I
know.
I guess it's okay.
but it's still his creeper.
You're
He's
still a creep.
creeper.
Do we have that creeper dropped?
Oh, the one time I didn't put it on here. Shit.
The one time.
I know.
So sad.
Did we want to keep abusing this person, or?
Oh man, I could abuse that woman all night. In a metaphorical way, of course.
I was
Not,
gonna say.
yes.
She's a pretty horrible person.
She's a pretty awful person.
And the thing is as a woman, she should realize that by putting other women in that place for her boys, that isn't moral. You're not being moral. What you're doing is you're making women seem like objects, and you're putting them forth as objects for your sons. And instead of saying to your sons, which I know this is what she wants to portray to them, instead of saying to them, hey, you should go for someone because of their mind, because of who they are as a person, but if you happen to have funny feelings in your lower extremities because of their
if your
physicality,
dick gets hard.
it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You should love yourself too. Instead of saying that, she's saying women are just objects, and you should feel bad about liking it when they're naked.
That's what Christians always do. Christians are always harping on people for making everything about sex, and they inevitably make everything about sex.
Yeah, I did mention that in the post, that she talks about being pure. And I'm like, what could she possibly be talking about other than sex? I grew up in Christianity. The only time they mention the word pure is when they're talking about Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or when they're talking about sex. I've never once heard them say that this person was tempted to steal and that was an impure thought.
Mm-mm.
It's like, as to them,
Always sex.
they might still see that as sin, but they will never describe it as impure.
Nope.
Maybe they will now if they hear this. They'll be like, oh no,
Wait, we have to change our script.
Shit, we have to.
Dirty is on to us.
She's on to us. Whatever. But back to what Shayra was saying about teaching their boys to, or teaching your children. What?
You're not doing that story, are you?
No, I just
Okay.
have it up in the air
Okay.
for some reason.
That has to wait.
About teaching your children to fall for someone, not just for their body, but for their mind and who they are as a person. She said in this quote, "We think you're lovely and interesting and usually very smart, but," and here's the thing, that but is referring to, when these girls show skin on the internet. And I'm just thinking, so what you're teaching your boys is that girls are lovely, interesting, and smart until they display sexuality. As soon as they express sexuality, they're no longer interesting or smart or lovely.
Well, and that can really mess you up when you actually do get married.
It
This
can.
causes huge amounts of guilt, and this is what causes women to have problems having orgasms or actually getting close with their husbands, because they are always portrayed as being naughty if they show their naked
Yes.
parts. And it doesn't change once you get married, because you've been indoctrinated in this
Yeah.
idea that it's bad.
Well, and you brought that up in your blog.
I
Where,
did,
where she said, oh, you can't unsee that with, like, half-naked girls or whatever.
Yeah.
And you pointed out your husband has presumably seen you naked.
Yeah.
and
You have 4 children. I'm assuming you've had sex at least 4 times.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a shout out. I'm going to give a shout out to Livianne over at Lovejoy Feminism, because she grew up in heavily into purity culture, and she blogs about that a lot. And she has, I guess I'll post links. Do we have show notes or anything? I can post links later.
When we post this to the
Okay.
website, we can put it in.
I'll find a couple good posts that she has related to it, but she's written a lot about the problems she had when she got married because she couldn't feel right in her sexuality. And it's really a problem. And I remember, I think in the post I have some throwaway comments about like, yeah, that totally won't fuck up your wedding night.
Right.
You know? You'll totally feel okay with this, and you won't. Believe me, it will fuck it up.
Yeah. I don't understand how they beat into their children that sex is a horrible, awful, filthy thing, and you should be disgusted by it unless you get married. And
you're
then,
bad, and you should feel bad until you're married.
And then they
All
and
of a
then
sudden you
there's
just flip a switch.
and all of a sudden they expect them to be able to flip a
Yeah.
switch and have healthy sexuality with their spouse.
I don't know how you. And the thing is, it's not
And you
just.
don't even know what you're doing. I mean, you don't know
Right.
what you're doing, and you have a huge amount of guilt and shame. Really? That's gonna go well. Oh, yay, sex.
I'm
Like,
just
that
saying
sucks.
because let's be fair, the first time's usually terrible, and
Yeah.
then it gets better.
It gets better after this.
Is this our It Gets Better
Yes.
contribution? Well, especially since she doesn't seem to be railing against actual sex here, but just the fact that some of these girls' pictures might make her boys put quotes around that, might make her boys have sexual thoughts. And if you're having to shut down I remember being told to shut down sexual thoughts. If you're being told to shut down your sexual thoughts throughout adolescence, you learn that's an aversion technique. You
Yep.
learn to avoid sexual thoughts at all costs, and you cannot just turn that back on. It took me years to get over that. Even though I wasn't completely shutting it down, I still had all of the guilt and bullshit packed into there. Anyways,
I think guilt is one of the main things that attacks people today, and it's usually perpetuated by some of the people that are trying to do something nice. They're trying to make your life good, but they actually inadvertently make your life absolutely freaking horrible.
Well, it goes back to the main problem of religion, that it poisons you, and then it offers you the antidote, when you didn't need the fucking antidote to begin with. If you didn't feel all this fucking guilt that they pile onto you from, in this country, Christianity, then you wouldn't need to go through all this other shit in order to feel good about what is perfectly natural and that
Right.
most people feel.
Yeah, this is where they have the Alcoholics Anonymous, they have the sexual addictions, all these other things. It's
sex addiction.
Ugh.
yeah.
It pisses me off because it's been put up by review for by the APA, the American Psychological Association, multiple times, and every time the APA is like, yeah, no, that doesn't qualify as an addiction.
Oh, science.
It could
shoot.
maybe qualify as a compulsion, and I'm willing to concede that some people might.
Fine.
Yeah.
Some people might have a compulsive need for sex in the way that you can have a compulsive need for anything.
I loved when I took that test about being a sexual addict. Some of the stuff was
I
just
took that too.
ridiculous.
I did too.
We were all addicts, I believe.
Yep,
I think we were.
But I mean, some of the stuff was just basic stuff that normal people should be doing.
Basically.
So it makes me
Yeah,
sick.
and
know,
what's annoying is I remember. What? Don't look at me like that.
What?
She's
Okay.
objectifying you.
For the listeners,
Everything.
I stood up and pushed my chair away, and then I'm kind of sitting on my knees here because we gave up our fans for you, dear listener. We
Yes.
gave up our awesome fans that make it not
Now we're all
swelteringly
sweating
hot
for
up
you.
here. Anyway, so I can't sit in that chair anymore. It's covered in sweat. I swear that's what that is. What was I saying?
I don't know. I didn't realize she got
I
this
think we're
excited
moving
by
on
the
to
show.
the next troll of the week.
Are we?
No, I swear I had a point somewhere. Go ahead, I'm drunk.
Oh, shit.
It's just my headset.
I've made a huge mistake.
Oh my god.
Dirty Nerdy
You
has
just
apparently
stick that to the hole.
disconnected her headset in a fit of drunken ginger rage. Not justified ginger rage.
Fuck all you guys.
We really do need to do a live show with a video, but I'm going to tell everybody about this because we came up with this idea without Amy, but without Dirty Nerdy. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a live show with just Dory and I on video, but we're going to give you a big pile of masks, and you get to troll us from behind throughout the show.
I love this idea.
And
When
we
are we doing
definitely
this?
need to get that horse
I
mask.
don't
but
know.
We're gonna go around online.
Did
if
you
you guys
say-
have any ideas for masks that Dirty Nerdy can have, post it to Secular View's Facebook page and let us know what awesome masks she should try out. But I think we should do a live show and let you incorporate yourself with that.
You know you can have a mask on Google Hangout, right?
Yes, I know, but it might not.
Jesse made me a mask one
well.
night. It's pretty funny.
Who's the other troll?
All right, next
Speaking
troll.
Speaking of trolls, we have ginger trolls, but what other trolls do we have?
You guys so hard.
Our last troll happened today, and this is so fucked up. I wish I had more details about it, but of course, it's a new news story. So, an 8-year-old black boy was shot in the face today in Dallas, Texas, by a 46-year-old white man when he was playing outside of his apartment.
I don't need to vote. He wins. He's troll of the week.
Why?
He blew off this kid's jaw. The kid is in critical but stable condition right now at Children's Medical. And
This is not the first time.
And nobody knows why. That's what's been pissing everyone off. I have a quote here from his mother that says, "I just don't know why this would happen. I've never experienced anything like this, and I don't understand why someone would target an innocent child like this."
This is not the first time this has happened in Texas. This summer, there was a couple who shot a 7-year-old who was running in their backyard. Well, not in their backyard, but in the forest part behind their house.
What the fuck?
Seriously?
Who is shooting kids?
What the hell is
For no
wrong with
reason.
people?
You know, this is why I have a problem with people who say, "Oh, well, I have a gun for protection in my house if I get robbed." And I'm like, do you really think that taking someone's things should get a capital punishment? Really? I mean, again, I'm a pacifist, so I'm really only in favor of violence if it's to
protect your
life or your body in that moment. You know, if they're...
That's very unreasonable.
Yeah, how dare I be so unreasonable? But I mean, I would never shoot someone who's taking things from me. I'd just be like, all right, take my things.
All right, dude, here, take more things. Just
You want my
leave me
things?
alone.
Here you go. Take all of my things.
Right.
And I didn't see your face, so you know I'm fucked.
It's cool. I'm gonna go.
I mean, I'd be pissed. I would feel violated that somebody came into my home, and that's terrible. I mean, I have friends who have suffered home invasions. I mean, they weren't home. Is that considered a home invasion if they're not there at the time?
Yeah, it's still a home invasion.
I wasn't sure. It's a burglary. It's just not a robbery in the state of Texas.
Right.
I don't know how that's defined in other states. And yeah, that's awful, but I don't think it deserves capital punishment, and especially running around in a forest behind somebody's house.
Which kids freaking do all the time.
Well, and this kid isn't even running
my
around
God.
on private property. He's at an apartment complex.
Yeah.
I see kids running around my apartment complex all the time. You know what I do? I wave at them, and I make sure I get out of the street before I drive.
Is this person crazy or?
I don't know. Like I said, there aren't a whole lot of details. I was trying to look up to see if people could make donations to the family,
Right.
because the only thing I could find from them is, "Oh, please send us your prayers." And I was like, I'd like to do
Can
something.
I send more?
I'd like
Can
to
we
do
more?
something useful for you.
Yeah.
If anybody out there in internet land listening finds out how we can, do something
Tangible.
tangible. That's the word I was looking for. Not physical. Tangible. Tangible is a much better word.
What are you groping when you're saying tangible? You have your hands in a cupped motion.
I don't
While
know.
saying tangible.
I am
It's
so.
the invisible boob to her left.
I am so drunk. And Dory's boobs are right here. I can just grab hers.
Right?
I'm so drunk right now. If any of you out there in Radio Land or Internet Land, fuck it, know how we can help this family in a tangible way, please let us know. If we find out something by next week, we'll
let you
air
know
it.
Yeah,
next
and we
week
can
if
always
we-
post to Secular View's Facebook page.
Yeah.
and see.
But oh god, fuck that guy.
There's so much
God.
shit happening in Dallas this week. What the fuck?
All right,
This is a
so
scary place.
I guess do we need to vote on Troll of the Week right
I
now?
don't think
Who
we
wins?
do. I think we all
I
know.
think the dude who shits a kid in the face wins Troll of the Week.
Yeah.
I guess that's worse than Kim Hall.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely
Only
worse.
just.
Just
Only
a little bit.
Just a little bit.
All right, well, you know what that means. We're going to let Crazy Eyes take care of this
All right,
one.
Crazy Eyes, take it away.
I will cut you! I will cut you, bitch! Don't make me cut you! You know where the fuck you are, bitch! You don't know me!
Yeah.
All right, Shara, cleanse our palate. Go ahead.
Okay, we have a boss of the week.
Woo!
Like
Okay.
a boss.
So, Australian pastor gets a surprising response on marriage equality from a politician.
Oh man, this is epic.
Do we have a drop for this at all?
Yeah, I actually have the whole thing to play, so if you want,
Okay.
I can just play that.
All right, let's just play it. Let's just do this.
I'm a pastor of a local church and work for a national Christian radio network. Most of the listeners and callers we've had in our radio station have been saying they won't be voting for you because they're disillusioned, because you seem to keep chopping and changing your beliefs just to get a popular vote with regards to things like marriage. Why should we vote for you?
Well, on the question of marriage equality, you're right. I took a position about, I think, 3, 4, 5 months ago, well before coming back to the Prime Ministership, because I concluded in my conscience, through an informed conscience and a Christian conscience, it was the right thing to do. And let me tell you why. Number one, I do not believe people when they are born choose their sexuality. They are gay if they are born gay. You don't decide at some later stage in life to be one thing or the other. It is how people are built. And therefore, the idea that this is somehow an abnormal condition is just wrong. I don't get that. I think that is just a completely ill-founded view. Secondly, if you accept that it is natural and normal for someone to be gay, because that's the way they are, then it follows from that I don't think it is right to say that if these two folk here who are in love with each other and are of the same gender should be denied the opportunity for legal recognition of the duration of their relationship by having marriage equality. If you accept that, if your starting point is that homosexuality is abnormal, I don't know if that's your view.
Well, we can go back and...
well, I just need to know, because
we'll go back to our question. Just
I just
quickly
need to know.
ask what it is that you believe Christians in particular are upset about.
I think the thing is that every pastor we do marriages between husbands and wives, and Jesus said a man shall leave his father and mother and be married, and that's the biblical definition. I just believe in what the Bible says, and I'm just curious for you, Kevin, if you call yourself a Christian, why don't you believe the words of Jesus in the Bible?
Well,
Okay,
mate,
thank you.
Well, mate, if I was going to have that view, the Bible also says that slavery is a natural condition. Because St. Paul said in the New Testament, slaves, be obedient to your masters. And therefore we should have all fought for the Confederacy in the US Civil War. I mean, for goodness sake, the human condition and social conditions change. What is the fundamental principle of the New Testament? It is one of universal love, loving your fellow man. And if we get obsessed with a particular definition of that through a form of sexuality, then I think we're missing the centrality of what the gospel, whether you call it a social gospel, a personal gospel, or a spiritual gospel, is all about. And therefore, I go back to my question. If you think homosexuality is an unnatural condition, then frankly, I cannot agree with you based on any element of the science. And therefore, if a person's sexuality is as they are made, then you've got to ask the second question. Should, therefore, their loving relationships be legally recognised? And the conclusion I've reached is that they should. And on the question of chopping and changing, I wrote a 2,000 or 3,000 essay, a 2,000 or 3,000 word essay, stuck it online months and months and months ago before returning to the Prime Ministership, so everyone would know why I had changed my position, the reasons for it, and it was the product of some many, many months and years of reflection in good Christian conscience.
Like a boss.
I think this is just the future of Christianity.
Right?
That's all it is. This is how they're going to talk about it in the future.
It has to be if they're going to survive.
Yep, they have to adjust to this message, and there's nothing wrong with adjusting to that message anyway. It's actually, it can, for some of us, it bothers us because we feel like, hey, if you're recognizing that slavery is in there and it's bad, if you're recognizing that the stuff that it says about homosexuality is in there and it's bad, why aren't you putting two and two together? But for me, all I'm thinking is, hey, let's not hate people and be treating them like crap. I'm totally fine with that message.
I'm pretty sure I don't need a book to figure that out. But, you know, whatever.
It's true.
If that helps you, I guess, then...
Whatever they need to do to not hate.
I mean, I work with hippy-dippy, okay with gays Christians in my line of work, and I don't have a problem with them. I still don't believe in their deity, but I don't have any personal issues with them. They're doing what they think is, you know, the best thing to help the world. They're not pushing their religion on anybody. They're not the ones I have a problem with, you know.
Right. You know, this was one of the things one of the reasons why I wanted to name our website Secular View. I didn't want to name it Atheist View. I really don't care if people are Christian or atheist or Jewish or deist or whatever. The main thing that I'm concerned with is, are you infringing on people's rights? Are you attacking others? Are you actually trying to make excuses as to why someone's evil so everyone can treat them like crap in society?
What? You mean you're not an evil, hateful atheist that just hates all religious people regardless?
Nope.
Grr.
I'm so boring.
I quit then.
Rage quit. Rabble, rabble, rabble,
rabble,
rabble.
rabble. That was my sad attempt at a rage quit.
Downstairs to get some ice for our drinks, and I'll have Dory explain the drinks in a couple seconds. But
I found Thin Mints.
Dirty Nerdy went downstairs. She found the Thin Mints from Girl Scouts.
Woo!
Which yay,
We
Girl
love
Scouts.
the Girl Scouts.
But
I love them even more. Are you gonna do this?
The thing that I'm trying to say is,
for
some reason, Dirty Nerdy was downstairs, and I think the refrigerator attacked her because there was a bunch of noises.
Dory has these blue heavy things in the freezer.
They're ice blocks from my lunchbox that I take to school.
Well, they kept falling out.
Well, I'm sorry that they were attacking you.
And almost hitting me in the feet. I'm just saying.
I think you're a little drunken, Frunk.
Drunken Frunk.
Guys, I'm just drunken Frunk. No, but I found Thin Mints. And segue into a boss of the week that I don't think we actually had here.
No, we didn't have it until.
But I believe it happened this week. The Girl Scouts have taken out the religious/God reference in their little oath that they make Girl Scouts take.
Yep.
And fuck yeah, I already loved them as an organization. They're pretty awesome, but this was just even more awesome.
That is awesome.
Chris is upset that you're eating apparently his Girl Scout cookies. I'm fairly certain that we both own these Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah. Dory said I could eat them.
Mine.
That's
all
what
of them.
She said.
In fact, Chris, you can listen to me eat them right now. Listen. That's me. Eating Chris's Thin Mints.
Oh my gosh, he said he bought 15 boxes this year.
Yes.
Really?
Did I not tell you about this?
Oh my, I know I bought a whole bunch, but I have a family of 8, so.
I'm so glad you support Girl Scouts so much.
When the Girl Scouts came out and they were in favor of trans kids and trans adults and all of that, I was like, I'm gonna double my order I usually do. Because usually I just buy like $20 worth of cookies.
Did you make sure and tell them why?
I did. I told them
did
specifically.
Too. I told
Be
them
like,
why
write it down.
them at the table.
I wrote a letter to the national, people, and then I told the Girl Scouts that I was buying them from. I was like, I'm very appreciative of your organization because you're way more inclusive than other scouts, and I am doubling my order this year because of that.
If you eat a Thin Mint and then take a drink of our cocktails this week, it's fucking amazing. Yeah.
Okay, so what are our cocktails this week? We didn't even talk about that.
We're not yet. We're still doing bosses of the week.
We can.
We
might as well talk about it.
I've just distracted everybody.
About it, so we might as well just talk about it.
Fine.
So we had, I don't know, what do we want to call it? We made it up, I guess.
Alcoholic root beer floats.
Yeah.
Vanilla vodka root beer floats. I think everybody knows what that is. We don't even have
pretty
to
much.
And we adjusted the recipe just a little bit for me because I'm lactose intolerant. So we got some lactose-free vanilla briars, which is just Dirty Nerdy and Dory actually caring about me and my weird tummy. So that is really awesome of you guys that you looked something up.
Yay, inclusiveness!
Yay.
What, to be fair, ice cream can mess up my system too, so
You're like,
Yeah.
I'm fine with adjusting.
I'm
this
more than
recipe.
okay with lactose-free ice cream.
I sometimes have trouble with it too, and for a while, like a few years ago, I just cut out all dairy, including cheese, all dairy products for
Man,
like 6 months.
I
Just 'cause-
couldn't live without
I know it was
cheese.
the worst,
I
but
could-
I
like-
was having so many stomach problems. I think it was mostly due to stress, but cutting out the cheese and dairy did that, and so I feel you.
Yeah, it's tough.
Right here. I'm beating my chest with my fist. Right here.
Right here, in the boobage.
In the boob. I feel you right here. Next boss of the
too.
week.
Yes,
Who has the next
week.
boss of the week?
think
Is
it's
it
you.
is it you?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's me. Just so everybody knows, we support the Girl Scouts so much, or Dory does, that she bought 15 boxes. I don't support the Boy Scouts so much that I've decided never to be prepared for anything.
That's
That's the reason, apparently.
That's why
That's the
I'm
best
never
excuse ever.
I never know what news stories we're doing until 5 minutes before we go on. I don't research. In fact, we decided tonight my role in the group is basically waitress. I make everyone's drinks. And we had pizza earlier, so
Bartender.
I gave everyone pizza.
She dispersed the pizza.
It worked.
I didn't buy it though because I'm poor. Thanks, Shara, for the pizza. Anyways, so if you want to do your part to not support the Boy Scouts, join me in never being prepared for anything in your life.
How is
Do
it?
it.
How is it that I'm the most prepared and I was never in the Girl Scouts? I wasn't
I was
allowed
never
in the Girl Scouts.
I was never in the Girl Scouts.
Well, you know what? I think Amy, a dirty nerdy. God damn it! Hopefully, no one listens to this show.
Or the opposite of that, whatever.
But you know, I think when it comes to being prepared, there is something to say about not being prepared. Because there is something to say about it.
Yeah,
Because a lot
that's
of
the
times
secular view. Don't be prepared.
I
Unless
actually
you're
enjoy
me, and then I do all the prep
It's
work.
fine. It's fine if there's some preparedness, but there's something to say about being able to come up with a joke right off the top of your head and be witty about it. So
Yeah, like knock knock.
no,
No?
I'm not gonna.
God damn it.
We're not going there.
All right, fuck you. Next segue to the next boss of the week. So I found this today. My contribution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ha! To those who think that I don't contribute.
Oh look, you just said you don't prepare, and you actually.
And now
looked
you're
up news
preparing?
stories?
I wasn't preparing. I just
You're
shared.
not very good at this.
I just liked this news story and shared it with Dory earlier, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make that boss of the week." I was like, "Yeah, you totally do that." Anyway, so next candidate for boss of the week: teens checking out a girl in her car accidentally rescue her from kidnapping.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, this happened today in Kaufman, Texas.
If the Kim Halls of the world
Dude.
had their way, this never would have happened.
And they even have like boss names. Listen to this: Aaron Arias and Jamal Harris. How is that not superhero names? Like seriously.
And one of
They're
them has a
superheroes.
Deadpool tattoo he got the day before.
Fuck, I love these guys even more.
Shout out to Neely.
Yeah,
Yay.
Neely would love that. All right, Aaron Arias and Jamal Harris are two teenage boys, and they initially were just checking out an attractive girl who was in the back seat of the car when they realized she was mouthing "help me" to them. The boys followed the car until she was they followed the car she was in until the police could arrive to pull over the suspect. Charles Atkins Lewis Jr. That's totally. Oh my God, that is a villain name.
I know.
3 names
And a junior.
and a junior. Oh, I bet Senior Lewis Senior was probably like Hobgoblin Kidnapper. You know what? Because of libel laws, or actually this would be slander since it's spoken. Ha! Learn the difference between libel and slander, people.
It's true.
Because of slander laws, I take that back. I don't know anything about Lewis Sr., so he probably wasn't the Hobgoblin of kidnapping. Fuck.
Just in case he's listening.
Just in case he listens to this. Remains in jail. I'm sorry. So the villain remains in jail on $50,000 bond, and he's charged with aggravated kidnapping. For those who don't know, aggravated kidnapping means he used a weapon, or he intimated that he had a weapon. In either case, something like that.
Yeah, she's been missing since, I want to say, August 25th.
Shit, are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
So this wasn't like, oh, we caught him just as he was kidnapping her. This is like,
Oh, damn.
she's been gone for like a week or something.
See, this is part of my not preparedness, because I don't think I read more than just this one news story, so I didn't know that.
So what we've learned from this is, if you are trying to get attention and you're kidnapping, be hot. Give the attention to somebody.
Yeah, that's a little bit, problematic, but whatever.
It's hugely problematic.
They fucking helped her.
It is problematic, and this is the thing that I have to question. If she wasn't somehow attractive to them, would she have been saved?
To be fair, they only said kinda attractive.
Oh, well.
Is that fair?
I don't know.
Maybe they were just trying to not be creepy on the evening news.
Maybe.
Is this an example of the pretty white girl syndrome?
Possibly.
I mean, I don't know if she's white or not, but it might be.
I don't know. I don't know what she looks like, but the fact that she was, I don't know. Maybe I just have a problem with it because I'm weird. Like, why was it because they were trying her out?
You'll be saved from kidnapping. No.
I don't know.
So bad.
This does bring back memories, though. I guess I could have gotten my sister in trouble, but me and my sister and a friend of hers, I don't remember what we were doing, but we were like in the car, and I was in the back seat, and her friend thought it would be funny if she duct taped my hands together and put duct tape over my mouth, and if I like freaked out at cars next to me, I guess we were just lucky we didn't find any cool.
That could have been a very big problem.
That could have been bad.
Probably should not play that joke at all.
It's gonna be a bad idea. So here's a quote from Aaron Arias. Aaron Arias? Whatever.
It sounds like a superhero
This is a superhero
alter
pseudonym.
ego.
Yeah, Jamal Harris and Aaron Arias. It's me and another guy. So we're checking out the girl in the back seat because we're like, okay, she's kind of attractive.
Oh, she's kind of attractive.
I'm sorry, I broke down.
I tap that.
And then all of a sudden, the guy is turned back looking at us. We looked in the back seat, and the blonde female in the back was saying, help me, or something. Blonde female.
Yep.
She was in the back saying, help me, or something, whispering it. I mean, and then they just decide to follow them and call it that. Props to you guys, all right?
Yep.
That is awesome. That is great. But yeah, I do have to throw up the big giant question mark in the sky.
Yeah.
Is it because she was a pretty blonde white girl? Possibly.
Pretty white girl syndrome.
Yeah.
Go Google it, everybody, if you're wondering what that means.
That sucks. But it's great that she was, found and that everything turned out okay. Nothing bad happened to her. It's all wonderful. It's all great. So.
All right, and our last candidate for Boss of the Week is Planting Peace, an anti-hate nonprofit, which is working with Equality House, the house that's across the street from Westboro Baptist Church.
I love these guys. They're always Boss of the Week.
I know, and they've basically been trolling Westboro for the past year because they decided to paint their house as a giant rainbow. They're right across the street from Fred Phelps.
Yep.
And they were like,
Can I live in this house with you? Can I join you?
Yeah, I wanted to actually go and visit that place when we were going up to a convention, but it was way too far out of the way, and I was like,
it's never too far out of the way. You just don't care enough.
Well, there was like
Shara.
8 or 9 other people, and my vote didn't count, so.
You're a bad person, and you should feel bad.
Equality House is going to be hosting what they're calling Drag Down Hate. That's perfect. It's a walkathon where they're having people dress up in drag and walk back and forth in front of the Westboro Baptist Church in order to fundraise for LGBT organizations. For those who don't know, it's the best way to get rid of the Westboro Baptist Church is just tell them that you're turning them into a fundraiser. And you'll chase them off with a quickness. Oh, what the hell are you two doing?
I think she's hyperventilating from laughter. No, I think this is great. I think the wonderful thing is they're going to act like they're upset about it. It won't run them away because they're actually going to be looking out their window going, yeah, hey, they're going to love it. I know that they're going to love it.
Are they going to protest outside their own house?
That would be so awesome. If there are pictures of that, if this happens, please take pictures of it. I want them to protest right outside their own place.
so many things to say about this, and then Shayra did something hilarious with her cup. I think she tried. It looks from here like she was trying to drink, because she has a spoon and a straw in it, and it looks like she was about to drink from the spoon.
Yeah, well,
As if it's the straw.
It can be confusing.
Spoons and straws.
It can be confusing. There's things protruding from the cup, and you go for the wrong one. Sorry.
I don't make drinks with things protruding out of them.
Oh my goodness.
That's a goddamn lie, and you know it.
That's a drop.
Okay.
All right. So yeah.
So our bosses are an Australian pastor.
Yeah.
Some drag queens.
Well, it's actually it's the Australian Prime Minister who's smacking down the pastor.
Okay, the Australian Prime Minister.
Prime Minister Rudd, Planting Peace / Equality House, or the superhero sounding names. What are they again? The two teenage boys.
Aaron Arias and I'm not even reading it. Aaron Arias and Jamal Harris.
Pretty tough call.
I'm gonna go with the Prime Minister.
It was pretty epic smackdown.
Yeah.
Dora, I'm gonna let you vote next.
I think I'm gonna go with the Prime Minister too.
All right, since you guys both chose your own, I'm gonna choose. Fuck it. Me. I'm about to believe. Since my vote doesn't count. There.
Oh gosh.
Now I feel good about myself.
Okay.
I won, or didn't win, Boss of the Week.
You were a third of the way there.
I made myself sad.
Oh, I made myself feel bad.
All right. So it's time for our book review this week.
Woo!
This week we're reviewing the most awesome coloring book ever. I think Kylie can even agree to that because she got to participate. It's called Sometimes the Spoon Runs Away with Another Spoon.
Yeah. It's pretty
This
great.
book has given me countless hours of entertainment. Because I like to color and I like queer things, so awesome.
It's just a win-win for everyone. And it's not sexually explicit or anything. It's just awesome that it's a queer kid's coloring book.
Yeah, that's great. And the thing is you don't need to be a queer kid to enjoy the coloring book, because Kylie's not a queer kid, but she enjoys the coloring book.
Well,
That's because coloring books are awesome.
And so are the gays. So if you combine the two, you almost can't handle the awesomeness.
All you need is your rainbow crayons and it's like a complete package.
It's not even necessarily just queer, because a lot of it is also just breaking down gender norms, and that's awesome.
Right.
I'm always for that.
Yep. My favorite one that's in there, I have a couple that are my favorites, but there's one it's a princess who's...
There can only be one.
I know. There's a princess who's leaning over to kiss a frog, and she has a thought bubble over her head, and it just says, I hope it's another princess. I hope it's another princess.
That's pretty cute.
And there's another one with, it's a girl who's got like a football helmet on, and she looks pissed off, and there's a Easy Bake Oven and a trash can, and you can see a boy peeking around the corner looking really excited, and the caption is, for every girl who throws away her Easy Bake Oven is a boy hoping to find one.
Aww, that's true.
It's super cute.
And it's true, because, there were a lot of times where I was playing with quote-unquote boy toys, and there's a lot of times where my friends that were
Hot
guys...
Wheels!
Yay.
A lot of my guy friends would want to play with some of my really cool girl toys. So, I don't like saying that a toy is a boy toy or a girl toy. I like the idea of just, hey, here's a bunch of really cool, awesome toys. Let's all play together and have fun together.
Yeah, I mean, I used to work at a church nursery, and I got distracted so my phone. I just got a text message or something.
Damn it, dirty nerdy, you're supposed to turn your phone off.
I'm
it's
drunk.
okay,
I'm drunk and distracted. Distracted. Yeah, I used to work at a church nursery, and I remember we just had all the toys out there during, there were different centers. There was the kitchen center. There was this awesome. I want this in my house when I have fucking kids. It was this amazing That was fucking as like.
Yeah, no.
An emphasis, not an adjective.
Yeah, we got it. It's cool.
Okay, thanks.
I'm assuming that you're not fucking kids, so.
You assume correct. You know what they say about assuming. Anyway, no. Where was I? I had like all these centers and everything, and one of them was this car table where there were like train tracks that they could put together, and they had tons of trains and cars and stuff. And then they also had like a whole tool center and a center with baby dolls and then a center with building. It was amazing. I loved the toys that my kids got to play with. And if you give them no direction, which that's what center time is supposed to be. They're supposed to play with whatever the fuck they want because they're 3-year-olds. Who the hell cares?
Right.
As long as they're,
As long as they're not trying to kill each other, I think they're fine.
As long as they're appropriate for a 3-year-old to play with, then any of them can play with it. And so if you just left them alone, the boys would play with the kitchen stuff, the girls would play with the tools. They would just like go back and forth. They would just go back and forth and play with whatever they wanted. And I remember I only had it wasn't even a parent, he was a grandparent dropping off his grandson. I only had one person ever say anything about it. And he saw his grandson go for the kitchen toys immediately. He didn't even pick up a baby doll. He just went in there and picked up a plate or something. And he's like, "Hey, Junior," I don't remember his name, "you should go and how about you check out those cars?" And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, well, boys, they should play with cars." And I was like, "No, he likes the kitchen stuff. He plays with that quite a bit. He'll move on to cars and blocks later."
Don't push your heteronormativity on him, man.
And I was just like, he's picking up a goddamn plate. It's pretending to eat female? Really? I don't know.
Yes, it is.
He should be having a woman serve him, obviously.
That's what's funny. If you give him a few minutes, they'll do that.
Yeah.
It's like, just give it a minute. He'll be having a woman serve him. She'll make him a sandwich. And I didn't interfere. I just let them play. And sometimes the boys would be the people serving, and sometimes the girls would be the people serving. It doesn't fucking matter to them because they're 3. Who cares?
Yeah, I worked with 3-year-olds as well, and I remember seeing little boys playing with baby
dolls. That's
dolls.
my favorite age, I have to say. Favorite age.
Baby dolls, they cuddle them, they love them, and they put them to bed. And I've seen little girls pick up wooden train sets and turn them into guns and go bang, bang, bang at each other. I've seen it.
We didn't have guns. They turn everything into guns.
They turn everything into
everything.
Guns. Everything is a gun in America.
You try to stop it.
America.
You try to stop it and be like, this is a car. And then they just go and get the blocks or something and build a gun. Yep. And I'm like, wow.
Cool story, bro. I'm going to go make a gun.
I'm so glad.
Make me gun.
I'm so glad that this generation is growing up with those 3D printers and they can just, by the time they're old enough, they can just make their own gun. Yay!
Make your
Technology.
own gun out of Lego.
It's the new Lego thing. It's gonna come out next year.
The thing is, kids are playing with some weird stuff. Because I saw Kylie playing on her little pad. She has one of those. It's not an iPad, but it's a little pad. And she has.
Yeah, sure, I know.
Whatever. I don't know these.
A
giant
tablet?
Tablet, fine. I don't know. It's a giant iPhone. Whatever. That's the way I see it. But, like, she's playing with this app, and it's a giant
in my day, we had rotary phones.
Yes. I don't even know what it's called. I'm that old. But she's playing with an app where there's a giant poo, and you have to feed it and make it feel good.
What?
It makes fart noises.
What?
I'm like, what is happening?
Wait, do y'all remember Nano Pets?
It was kind of like a Nano Pet.
Oh my god.
But it wasn't a pet, it was a poo. And I'm like, what is happening? What?
I had Tamagotchis.
Yeah, Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchis are great. I had a Pikachu watch that had a little pet Pikachu in it.
Yep.
Like, I loved Pikachu. But I mean, I
wasn't allowed to watch Pokemon for a while because of demons.
Because they were evolving? Did they preach
Oh
evolution?
my god, I never even got that until right now.
Oh, it was so common. That's what people were...
No, it was like a Satanism thing. I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
I heard they're preaching evolution to our kids. I didn't hear a Satan thing.
Yeah, Pokemon is so scientifically accurate.
Right?
That's how evolution works.
And by the way, kids should go around trapping animals in balls.
I know, right?
It's a video game about cockfighting. That's what it is.
I would be totally upset by all the animal abuse in it, but whatever.
Why can't parents be upset about that?
PETA
I
has
can understand that.
PETA has a flash game about Pokemon and how it's evil, right? I've seen it. It's ridiculous.
No,
Sorry,
no.
PETA's so ridiculous.
I know.
I don't know what's happening in my brain.
I'm gonna find it now. I'm Googling this shit.
Alright, you Google
Google
that shit.
that shit.
So, this book, this coloring book,
They called it Pokemon Black and Blue. Gotta free 'em all.
isn't it?
No.
Is it playing?
No, fuck that shit.
Okay. Wasn't that an NSYNC album, or was that Backstreet Boys? Shayra, do you remember?
I don't know.
Which one?
There was like an NSYNC, it was NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, I don't remember which one, but they had an album called Black and Blue. I remember I joked
It was
about
Backstreet
it.
Boys.
I think it's
I joked
Backstreet
about it
Boys.
because I was like metalhead punk rocker.
Me too.
I hated the fucking boy bands. And now I can listen to NSYNC and be like, yeah, that was my 6th grade theme song.
See, the thing is,
In secret.
I've always been that strange person that listens to everything. I have this wide range of music.
No,
that I
that's an
listen to.
amazing person. I try to do that now. When I was a kid, I was stupid. When I was a teenager and stuff, I was like, I would ask first what the genre of music was before listening to it, and then
then you would accept it.
Yeah.
Fine, this is in my genre.
Yeah, pretty much. I was stupid. I did the same thing with books. It's why I didn't become a Harry Potter fan for like 10 years. Until like 10 years after it was cool.
I was trying to cover up my gender and sexuality at the time, so I was like, boy bands are dumb.
And then secretly you had your CD player Walkman, and you were rocking out to Backstreet Boys.
So many copies.
No, I was just jilling off to Gwen. Never mind.
Gwen Stefani?
Yes.
Yeah,
oh
me
my
too.
gosh, you like Gwen Stefani too? I love
Same.
Gwen Stefani.
All 3 of us?
Same.
Oh my god.
It's that damn blonde girl thing. We have a problem.
Same.
We have a problem.
Same. No,
I do not love her. She was.
I
adorable.
remember the Backstreet Boys Back in Blue album because I was
Black and Blue?
Black and Blue.
Okay.
Black and Blue.
That too. That one's good too.
That's what I meant to say. Shut up.
Shut up.
Because I remember in my
Drink your drink. There are sober
Drink your
children
drink,
in
your drink.
China.
in my no there aren't. In my 12-year-old mind, I'd come up with a clever and really terrible joke that like, yeah, they're black and blue. If I ever meet them, I'll beat them up. It was really dumb, but that's what I thought in my mind. Every time I saw a commercial for their Black and Blue album, I was like, fuck you, Backstreet Boys.
Yeah,
But secretly, I was listening to them on my Walkman.
I liked the boy bands, but I would listen to punk rock music.
I had a Walkman. I'm not judging
I
you.
would listen to Metallica. I would listen to Pantera. I listened to so many different random. I was listening to R&B all the time. I really liked Mariah Carey. I don't know. I had this really big scope with music, but it was because my whole childhood was trapped in a bubble of Christian music.
That
was all I was allowed to listen to. So when I was exposed to being able to listen to secular music, I was like, all the music.
All the secular music. Who created that? What's her name? Hyperbole and a half.
Hyperbole and a half. I don't know the author's name.
Fuck, I wish I did. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Hyperbole and a half.
But yeah, I think mine was as soon as I realized that there was rock music, I was like, I'm gonna listen to this, and that was my
You're like,
rebellious
this is a cool thing.
Yeah, metal, and I don't even really like metal anymore. I did when I was younger.
Yeah, I don't really like metal anymore. I still love punk. What's
I
funny?
still love
Punk is
Death
great.
Clock.
Punk
I
is
love
great.
Death Clock.
I do love
That's
Death
like
Clock.
the only metal band I still listen to. And sometimes Avenged Sevenfold. Do they count as metal?
I
don't even know.
Yeah.
but I call it pop rocks because
Pop
I feel like
rocks?
it's rock music with a little bit of a pop twinge. I really do.
I guess so.
But I also like Pop Rocks the candy, so that's the way I like to label it.
Pop rocks.
If it's playing on the radio,
They're sort of pop rocks. They're sort of pop rocks metal, I
Yeah.
guess.
It
sort
seems that the chat room's blowing up about PETA still.
Yeah.
We'll get some hate mail.
Hate mail. I haven't gotten that yet.
I know.
If you want to send hate mail, what's my Secular View email?
Just send it to secularshethinkers@gmail.com.
And address it to Dirty Nerdy. I will answer all your hate mail.
Yes, live on the air.
Come on, PETA.
And even
Bring
if,
it on.
Come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro.
even if you don't actually hate her or the show, just
Do it anyway.
Troll us. We welcome the trolls.
Same.
We'll be because we have a troll
All right.
on our show.
Did you have anything more you wanted to say about the coloring book?
No, that's fine. It's awesome. Go buy it. That's all I gotta say
Go
about
buy
it.
that
What,
for
what's
your
the name of it
killings.
again?
Sometimes the spoon runs away with another spoon. They also have 2 more. There's Boys Will Be Girls Will Be Boys.
That's confusing.
And there's Girls Are Not Chicks, which is their feminist one. It's pretty awesome.
Is it like girls and then the do not equal sign and then chickens?
And then a baby chicken, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Here's the thing.
That's how I would have designed
I
it.
call chicks all the time. Am I being bad?
You're
No,
a chick.
no.
No.
Okay.
It's just being
It's just
goofy.
Snarky?
Yeah.
Snarky, yeah. Just
A little
snarky,
bit of snark.
goofy.
Hey, I'm not a chick.
Nobody
I'm a
really
woman.
gives a shit.
I always use chick, and I don't know why I like the word chick. Just the sound of it, chick.
Except maybe you're straw feminist. Maybe
I
some
don't even
turfs.
think I'm a feminist, but whatever. It doesn't matter.
Turfs hate everything.
Pro-women.
You advocate
Everyone.
the same shit I do.
Yeah, exactly.
You can call yourself whatever the hell you want.
Be whatever you want.
I don't necessarily call myself a chick. I use chick as like a, I don't know who this person is. I just have a general idea of who they are.
Well, no, I
Well,
use
this one chick.
Yeah,
use
exactly.
I use dude in a gender neutral way too.
I do too. People
And
get
it freaks people
confused.
out. I'm from California. I have an excuse. What's your excuse?
Um,
New Yorkie type
I was a
person?
punk rock.
Half
You know.
of the women that raised me were from California.
Oh, there
I
you go.
guess.
That'll be the excuse.
I was in like punk rock and metal, and we called everyone dude.
Yeah, that might have a little bit of it.
You get high, and you're just like, dude.
I love dude.
Dude.
Dude is one of. It's kind of like fuck. It can mean anything.
Yeah. I'm a dude. He's a dude. She's a dude.
I don't
We're
know
all
this song.
dudes.
I remember the day that my sister, my grown adult sister, I think she's 30, or at the time that she made this comment to me, she was 30. She's older now. She texted me and was like, dude means elephant on an dude. Let's start over.
Okay. We'll pretend that never happened.
That did not happen. She said,
We'll fix it
hey,
in post.
there is no post.
I know.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. She didn't have that drop set up yet, so I just said it.
Yep.
She texted me and said, hey, do you know what dude means? And I was like, no, what? I was just playing dumb for her because I know what the actual definition of it is. I'm not a 6-year-old. And she goes, dude means a hair on an elephant's butt. Ha, you call people dude all the time. And I was like, didn't you just call me dude? But this is all a text conversation. It was so weird. I was like, you're like 7 years older than I am.
As long as they're not calling you a dingleberry, you're fine.
Yeah.
That's the one that I used to call people dingleberry all the time because I thought
Dingleberry.
it was. I
Oh
thought
my
it
God.
was a very G-rated, you know.
I for a while I called
word.
people jerk-offs or jack-offs.
Fine.
I had no idea what it meant.
It sounds G-rated when
It
you don't know what
does.
it means.
And then my sister was like, Amy, dirty nerdy. I'm so bad at this.
Me too.
Oh, fuck it.
Fuck it.
Just fuck it.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
My sister said, dirty nerdy. But that's not really what she said, because that's not my real name. So she says dirty nerdy, she says.
Oh my god, this is the greatest ever.
She said, hey, don't use that word. And I was like, why? And she said, well, you know what Bill Clinton got in trouble for? And I had a vague idea, and I was like, yeah. And she goes, what you're calling people is what people do when they don't have an intern.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like 9 or 10, so I had a really...
You're like, huh?
For a while, I had a really bad idea about what interns did.
You're like, that's what interns do?
I'm gonna grow up to be a
Sign up with
stripper.
that.
I don't want to
Yeah,
be an intern.
I'm gonna be an intern.
Oh my god.
What?
I'm just...
So that was our book review.
That's our book review.
That's our book review.
Segue.
Journalistic integrity, everybody.
Yeah.
We strive for it.
Before we get deep into the pseudoscience and nonsense...
Deep inside. What?
That's later.
Later.
I'm going to introduce our listeners, if they haven't heard of them already, to Symphony of Science. They take recordings of famous scientists who've given speeches and presentations, and then they turn them into music. It's fucking awesome. So enjoy this while we refill our drinks.
Because I really need it.
Science is the best tool ever devised for understanding how the world works.
Science is a very human form of knowledge. We are always at the brink of the node. Science is a collaborative enterprise spanning the generations. We remember those who prepared the way, seeing for them also.
If you're scientifically literate, the world looks very different to you, and that understanding empowers you.
There's real poetry in the real world. Science is the poetry of reality.
We can do science, and with it, we can improve our lives.
There's real poetry in the real world. Science is the poetry of reality.
The story of humans is the story of ideas that shine light into dark corners.
Scientists love mysteries. They love not knowing.
I don't feel frightened by not knowing things. I think it's much more interesting.
There's a larger universal reality of which we are all a part.
The further we probe into the universe, the more remarkable are the discoveries we make.
The quest for the truth, in and of itself, is a story that's filled with insights.
There's real poetry in the real world. Science is the poetry of reality.
We can do science, and with it, we can improve our lives.
There's real poetry in the real world. Science is the poetry of reality.
The story of humans is the story of ideas that shine light into dark corners.
From our lonely point in the cosmos, we have, through the power of thought, been able to peer back to a brief moment after the beginning of the universe.
I think that science changes the way your mind works, to think a little more deeply about things.
Science replaces private prejudice with publicly verifiable evidence. There's real poetry in the real world. Science is the poetry of reality.
We can do science, and with it, we can improve our lives.
All right, now we're back. Don't lie, Dory. Drory.
So science.
Can we play arcades?
Science.
Can we what now?
You have an arcade. I want to play arcades.
We can't do that during the show.
Oh, it'd be so much fun. All right.
Probably not to our listeners. They can't watch.
They can listen.
All they would hear is pew pew pew.
That's not fun. I mean, if you don't think that's fun, you're not a real gamer.
For our Are we on now?
Yeah. Fuck it.
Fuck it.
We'll do it live.
Shara's goddamn crutch kept falling all over the mic system or something. How dare you get hurt, Shara?
I'm sorry, I've been injured, and it's causing technical difficulties in the studio. All I needed to do was go pee.
I offered to do it for her, but she said no.
You had one job. Yeah, we know. You're delayed.
Chris, just in case everybody heard Dory say that, because they probably did.
Right.
Chris just informed us that our audio delayed, and we're like, we know you were delayed, so we already know what's going on. You don't need to tell us.
It was my crutch. My crutch delayed the audio.
Your crutch.
So science.
Science. Crutches are science.
If a crutch knocks into a cord and unplugs everything, it'll turn off the audio. That's science.
Yeah, that's some good science you're doing there.
I just scienced your ass.
Well, I anecdoted an anecdote one time, and it came out anecdote.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anecdotal evidence.
Anecdotal evidence. Not related to anything we're saying. All right, what's our first fear of science thing?
Well, I thought, because I don't know, we could talk about the stupid shit people do because they don't understand science all day. But I thought we'd hit the 4, biggest ones, starting with anti-vaccinators.
I thought you were going to say those penis pills. You know, the ones that grow your penis?
I don't think any 3 of us are looking into that.
No.
I know. It's just a thing I get in my inbox on my email, and so I thought...
Do you need a bigger penis? No, I don't have a penis, and I do not need a bigger penis.
I always say, oh, no, I'm good, thank you.
And and you use the word biggest, so I thought that would be a good segue, but, whatever.
Whatever.
Right, what are we doing?
Basically,
anti-vaxxers.
I used to be an anti-vaxxer.
Ew.
Really?
Yes. When the CDC did not actually put the ingredients that were in the vaccinations on their website, it freaked me out a little. I just wanted to know what was in it. Then some people found out there was mercury in it, and I did say, that's kind of weird, not because there was mercury in it, but because they were like, okay, we'll take it out so people will take the vaccinations. And I'm like, so we didn't need mercury in it in the first place? Why was it there?
Well, we did in the first place. We just had to replace it with something eventually because of idiots.
It served a purpose, but they just had to use something else.
Yeah.
I don't
The
remember.
mercury was there to keep the bacteria dead, which is a good thing.
Yeah, you kind of need that to stay dead.
It's less mercury than you would eat in a tuna sandwich. So
did you eat tuna sandwiches?
I did not, but
you don't eat tuna salad?
I don't really like.
I don't like
fish
tuna
stuff.
either.
But tuna salad is amazing. Oh,
I like
You're on
sushi,
your own, dirty
but
nerdy.
you know what?
Sushi.
Now I'm rage quitting.
Oh gosh. Well, here's the thing. I was also a Ron Paul psychopath, so whatever.
We all make mistakes in life.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, we all do dumb things.
I also, before that, I used to be a person who was a Christian who voted for George W. Bush, so we all change.
We all do really dumb things.
Yeah.
To be fair, if we were the same age, I would have voted for George W. the first time because of how I was raised, if I was able to vote.
Right.
But,
Yeah, it was just...
Did I just age myself?
I just changed my viewpoints a lot in life, but a lot of the reasons why I was an anti-vaxxer was I just did not understand why we would inject bacteria in our babies. That freaked me out. And watching my child scream and cry when she gets poked with the needles, I did not like that either. There is some effects that parents have, and I think there needs to be some understanding of that. I know there's the crazies out there, obviously, but there's some parents that are just like, my child is screaming in pain from a needle being poked in them and they're injecting bacteria in them. Like, that's kind of weird. I feel like anybody who would, see that from an outside perspective is kind of weird. So, if you're ignorant of science, that's even more scary, right? So, I think what it has to do with is educating people, letting them know what it does, why that needs to be done that way. And you want to know what actually helped me? This is the fucked up thing that helped me. I was watching a series on HBO about John Adams. Did you guys see that at all?
No. On the History Channel?
No, it was on.
No,
it was
the
on
History
HBO.
Channel is all about aliens or something.
No, that wasn't a good one. The one on HBO,
Wait,
and it had
John Adams, aliens.
Exactly.
Aliens.
But the guy who played John Adams, he was the guy from Sideways and Paul Giamatti.
Oh, okay,
He played John Adams.
yeah.
Do you guys recall that at all?
That wine movie or something?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't see Sideways, but I know who you're talking about.
Paul Giamatti was John Adams, and what happened to his family was one of them got sick during some war in America, whatever. It doesn't matter. What happened was one of them got sick,
some war or something.
His family
back then, they probably just cut their finger on something.
His family got sick from vaccinations, and the way they vaccinated back then was they took the sick people on carts that were dying with sores on them and took a knife and scraped all the pus out of the sores, then took it to the family, cut them with a normal knife, and then put the disease in them.
That's actually...
And it actually helped a bunch of the family members. One of them got sick but got through it, but they were vaccinated that way. And I was like, that's horrific.
That's actually
that's
called an inoculation. At first, that's what they didn't call them vaccinations. They called them inoculations at first. And I was going to mention that, like, a lot of people thought, I think it was Ben Franklin who first popularized it, right? Am I just drunk? Did I read that wiki page right? Yes, I'm not really educated. I just read Wikipedia a lot.
I just internet.
That's what educated people do too.
Woo!
It's cool.
I internet and wiki and TV trope everything.
Yep.
But I'm pretty sure Ben Franklin popularized inoculation, mostly. I'm sure other people worked hard at it too. And people were all like, Ben Franklin, why the hell do I want to put this gross pus in my body? What the hell?
That seems crazy,
No one understood it. And he was like, no, I swear this will work. Just let me put this pus in this
Let me just cut in your hand and then rub a sick person's pus in
you know, it just shows how much people trusted Ben Franklin, really. He was a Quaker.
Yeah.
I think, or something.
That helps.
At one point.
I don't think he was a Quaker when he got popular, but
his charisma must have been off the charts. I'm making a D&D joke right now. I'm sorry.
It needed to happen though because
he rolled a crit 20.
He rolled a crit 20
Can
on
I say that right now?
You're having a drunken nerd situation.
Crit 20 on persuasion.
He rolled a crit 20 on persuasion. I keep wanting to say clit 20, and Ben Franklin did not do that.
No.
Well, maybe he did. I don't know.
You don't know how reality works.
Maybe he licked pussy. I have no idea. And maybe he rolled a clit 20 on it. I don't know. It could happen. Science, bitches.
History
and history.
Science.
History and science.
How do we start talking about clits? I'm confused. I don't.
Because I can't say the word crit. Oh my god, I just said it.
Oh my gosh, that's how you say it.
I can't say the word. He rolled a crit 20. Yeah, I did it. Live, bitches.
Just say I can't do it before you say it, and then it'll happen.
All right, that's how I rode my first roller coaster.
I
would ask, but we don't have enough time.
I don't know.
What's next?
So next up is the genetically modified crops myths
GMO
that keep
people.
running around. Yeah,
Oh
the
my
GMO
God.
fear.
Last time I got in a debate with somebody on Facebook about GMO stuff, they linked me to this giant archive on naturalnews.com.
Oh, you convinced me.
Yeah, and most of the stuff was either bullshit written by Natural News that didn't actually link to any science, or it was just like pop science news articles.
Hey, I'm going to prove to you there's a God. Here's a link from Christianity Today.
Here's a link to that banana video by Ray Comfort. That's what it was. I mean, this was Natural News. If you're going with that analogy, it's worse than Christianity Today. It's the banana video from Ray Comfort.
Basically.
That's, yeah.
It was being very mean to Christianity Today.
Yeah, they're better than that.
They are better than that.
I
actually
linked to them
like some
before.
articles.
Yeah, they've had some good articles before.
That's true.
They do regular news stuff. Whoa.
Apparently you
Get out
have
of
somebody
Facebook.
on Facebook. You're the one on Facebook.
Why am I on Facebook? I'm always on Facebook. Just so everybody knows, Dirty Nerdy is always on Facebook.
Except for right now, because she just turned you off.
Oh, fuck. You made me a liar. Now I'll never get into Girl Scouts.
You're never prepared. How could you get into Girl Scouts?
I'll just eat their cookies.
Oh my gosh.
The
greatest episode ever.
But yeah, the whole GMO scare, I think, like,
there are scary things that are happening. If you look at Monsanto, there's some things about them that piss me off.
The scary things
capitalism.
about that's capitalism. That's not GMO. The
That's
scary
true.
things about Monsanto are that they're capitalists, not that they have genetically modified
Right.
crops.
And this is the thing. A lot of people don't seem to understand that when you're trying to make a profit, you're going to do some messed up things. And it has nothing to do with the science behind the seeds or the plants that are being... Okay, one of the big ones, right?
Okay, go.
Is that there are farmers that have seeds blowing into their farms, and then they're getting in trouble for those seeds. That's not happening.
No, it's not.
That's BS.
It's just like
not happening.
It's just like the contamination fear that they have, where they're like, pretty soon we're only going to have GMO crops because they're going to contaminate our organic
you know
crops
what,
and
fuckers?
blah, blah, blah.
You already only have GMO crops because we have been genetically modifying our goddamn food since we learned how.
Since we learned agriculture,
Since we've
been genetically modifying our food.
Tomatoes, bananas.
Your fucking dog is
everything.
genetically modified, okay?
Yeah.
True. It's true.
Unless you have a pet wolf,
our
you
cows
have
and
a
our
genetically modified pet.
Yep.
And it really pisses me off. And the thing is, if you want to get mad at Monsanto for some of the terrible shit they do, fine, get mad at them.
That's fine.
I've read some of the
I'm fine with
copyright
it too.
stuff. Like, is it copyright?
It's
Patenting laws.
It's a patent.
It's
It's patent shit. And
But
there's
it's like copyright.
and there's a lot of that shit that goes on in software companies and everything else too. Monsanto is not unique in their shitty patent
they're
laws.
just
They are
with
not.
seeds.
I've
It's
studied
just
business
weird.
law, and it's fucking boring, but you know what? Monsanto is not alone in abusing patenting laws.
It's just because they're doing it with seeds, which they see as natural, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason
you know
why it's
what?
dead.
All this bullshit about people being afraid of fertilizers, you know what? Your goddamn organic crops have probably more fertilizer, not natural fertilizer. No, they have. It's not fertilizer. It's pesticide.
Yeah.
Do a find and replace of pesticide for that whole last sentence.
And if people are afraid of pesticides, they should be lining up for GMOs.
Yeah.
Because GMOs are genetically modified to fight off pesticides,
Right.
so that you don't
You
have
don't
to
need
use
to
as
put as
much
much stuff.
insecticide.
I as a person who has had a garden, one of the fertilizers we used was chicken poop. And some of the pesticides we used might have freaked some people out. But the thing is we would grow our own food out in our garden, and then we would wash our food. We would put it in a special water concoction that would help keep the vegetables and stuff clean, and then we would take it back and cook with it. I mean, it wasn't really that complicated.
No, and
would that be considered GMO stuff, even though I was growing it in my own yard?
And the thing is, like, I've read recently some articles talking about how these supposed organic farms, they don't really have any regulation to say what counts as organic and what doesn't. So
Right.
They possibly are using GMO.
I consider Jimmy.
We'll
call it Jimmy. I consider
It sounds so much friendlier that way.
Jimmy.
Jimmy
I consider
Crops.
Jimmy Crops. This fear of Jimmy Crops seems to come more from the left than from the right, and I think a lot of it stems from a hatred of capitalism and Monsanto and all that bullshit.
Which are perfectly fine things to be upset about.
Perfectly fine things to
But
be
you need
upset
to
about.
direct your fear of capitalism in the
At
right
capitalism.
direction. At capitalism.
Yeah, communism.
Don't direct it at the scientists that are actually working towards saving millions and millions of people's lives
Right.
with crops that will grow in deserts that normally wouldn't
I
grow
know.
those crops. That's bullshit. It is hateful. And when they're going to places like Africa and telling people that GMOs are going to hurt them and give them cancer,
They're
and then these
killing
people are
people
not
by
kidding.
doing
They
that.
are killing people. Millions of people.
I know,
By perpetuating this bullshit.
A few weeks ago, when I first launched the Dirty Nerdy Facebook page, I got my first troll in like 2 hours. Not even kidding you. And
It's not hard to accomplish on the internet.
I expected my first troll to be like some MRA douchebag or something, but no, it was this guy who was mad at me for pointing, because I posted a link from, I think it was from Bad Skeptic. I could be wrong. Was it Bad Skeptic?
I don't know.
I think it was, but he was talking about a recent case of environmental terrorism, where they destroyed a whole crop of this, it's a type of rice that they're,
Is it yellow rice?
yellow rice, yeah.
Yeah.
They destroyed a whole crop of yellow rice that they're it was a test crop. It wasn't even a crop that anyone was going to eat. It was a test crop because they're trying to make it to where it has more vitamin A.
Right.
Which
certain groups
children go blind because they don't have enough vitamin A in their diet. And I read some this guy posted a couple articles that were anti-yellow rice, and I read it, and their main beef was it doesn't have enough vitamin A to actually make up for everything they need in their diet, so it's bad, and it's not. You shouldn't be testing it at all because GMO is bad. And I'm like, just because it doesn't have enough in it doesn't mean it's not enough to stave off blindness for a couple of years.
Cheetos don't have enough to actually give you any sustenance, so Cheetos should be taken off the shelves.
Yeah.
Oreos should be taken off the shelves.
And
McFlurry should be taken off the shelves. Really?
This is a crop that is being sold and used in areas where rice is a staple food. It is the main food that children get. And
if that's all they're getting?
Yeah, if it's all they're getting, then it's better than nothing. It's better than not any vitamin A, which I'm pretty sure regular rice you can't absorb. You can't have the vitamin A out of it.
That's why they're trying to genetically modify rice with vitamin A in it.
I'm almost positive that regular rice has vitamin A, but because of the way it's, I don't know, something chemically. This is so scientifically accurate.
Yeah.
Our body is not able to absorb it and use it the way it needs to. I might be wrong, I'm open to that. So send your hate mail.
I'm sure the internet will correct you.
The internet will correct me.
But so far, both of these things have had something to do with people dying. And
people dying, people going blind,
and
children
and that's
going
what
blind.
pisses me off about pseudoscience. It's the same shit that pisses me off about religion, is that it's perpetuating ignorance at the expense of people's lives.
Right. And the thing is what we didn't point out with the anti-vaxxers is even recently, here in this area where we live, there's been a huge measles outbreak because of these bitches.
Thanks to, what's the name of the mega church? Kenneth Copeland Ministries at Eagle Mountain Church.
Mm-hmm. Which is a nationally known church. So
I've heard of Kenneth Copeland. I didn't know he was from Texas.
Damn it. It came about here where the measles outbreak happened.
Again, shit happening in Texas.
I know the measles outbreak was in Texas. I didn't know Kenneth Copeland was in Texas.
Yep. What I loved is after it became obvious that, that vaccines prevent measles from happening, his daughter, who's now the minister of the church, not Kenneth Copeland, tried to come out with some I never said I was against abortion, or I was against immunizations.
That's not this week.
I just said people should be careful, blah blah blah, whatever. And I love the story I pulled had a quote from an actual doctor that responded to her little wishy-washy response after this had happened, because she said. Here, I'll just read her dumbass quote just to give it context.
What is the bias in this show?
She said, "Some people think I'm against immunizations, but that's not true. Vaccinations help cut the mortality rate enormously. I believe it is wrong to be against vaccinations. The concerns we have had are primarily with very young children who have family history of autism and with bundling too many immunizations at one time. There is no indication of the autism connection with vaccinations in older children or younger children or anyone. I just want to point out. Anyway.
Nobody.
Furthermore, the new MMR vaccination is without thimerosal mercury, which has also been a concern to many." And then an actual doctor responds to her. This is great. Dr. William Schaffner, who's the chairman of preventative...
Wait, did you just say William Schaffner?
Yeah, Schaffner. That's his last name.
William Schaffner.
Yep.
Schaffner.
Did he sing it like the Elton John version of Rocket Man?
I don't know. Do you want me to read it in a William Schaffner?
Yes. Read it like Shatner.
It is important to stick with the immunization schedule laid out by medical experts. Delaying immunization leaves children susceptible to measles and other communicable diseases. It's like we've turned back the clock to the pre-vaccine era and put our children and our neighbors at risk for profound illness.
Wow, she was making weird body contortions just like on Family Guy.
Basically. That I have to do it
Pop
to get the voice
references.
Right. Yep.
We're good at we may not be very good at science, but we're good at pop culture references.
Yes. And
I was happy to learn that Texas is actually one of the one of the higher states as far as vaccination rates go.
That's weird because what's his name who started it? What was the guy's name in Britain who started this whole thing like in 2001?
Oh, that asshole, I forget.
Yeah.
He's based in Austin, Texas, I'm pretty sure.
He is now.
He has his like
but
mansion in Austin. Like really? A mansion of some sort.
But
I just
90% of Texans, or more than 90% of Texans, have had their MMR vaccines.
I had
should be 100%, but
they hurt, by the way, because I remember when Kylie got her vaccinations, she was like, "This is nothing." She keeps getting poked with needles. "This is nothing. This is totally fine." Ah! She got to the MMR.
Growing up, we always got our vaccinations because we have a lot of nurses in our family, and my grandmother is an RN, and she used to just buy the vaccinations like fucking in bulk at the hospital that she worked at. And she would give it to all of her grandchildren. She was like, "Nope, you're all being vaccinated. Don't argue." And I remember my cousin and I used to like hide.
She's got the needle again.
Oh my God, it's the needle. Let's go hide in a closet in here. And you know, they always found us. We can't hide forever.
When it comes to vaccines, I get fucking furious with parents who won't vaccinate their parents.
Oh yeah.
Wait, vaccinate their parents or their children?
Their children. Shut up, I'm drunk.
You vaccinate your parents.
From getting drunk.
Grandma needs this vaccination. Well, the thing is, like...
Well, and adults need vaccines, too.
Everyone needs to listen to William Shatner.
Shatner.
But what pisses me off is that there are more and more schools that are, like, bending over backwards for these nutbags, and it should be the opposite. They should be saying, "No, we're not letting you bring your non-immunized kids into this school just so that you can put other children at risk."
I actually saw a really bad situation occur at a daycare I worked at, because I've always worked with kids. But I've always been lunch lady person because I like to cook. Yes, I like to go in the kitchen and make a sandwich.
Shara, you're like the hot lunch lady.
I guess so.
Is that a thing?
Apparently.
I think there was this lady that was a lunch lady at my school. She was pretty young, and I think without the hairnet, you know, dressed up a bit, she'd be pretty hot. But,
hey,
you know, the uniform they made them wear wasn't very flattering.
It could be a fantasy for someone if they want to, but I just...
Is that a common fantasy?
No, never. It's never.
I know the school nurse, maybe.
Everyone thought I was just another high schooler that worked, you know, there, or, you know, when I worked at a daycare, they thought I was a high schooler. They never thought...
Oh, God, I got that same thing when I worked at church nurseries.
I get it still, now.
Yeah, I still get carded at the movie theater, but it's even worse when, like, they're expected to put their child in your care, and they come up and they think you're a teenager, and I'm like, I'm 22, and I've been doing this for, like, 8 years.
Like, I have a lot of experience.
I got this shit. It's cool.
I know how to play Legos with your 3-year-old. It's cool,
okay,
man.
So, you guys have seen South Park, right?
Yes.
You have this really
Does
great...
the Pope shit in the woods?
Does he?
It's a nice little mountain town where everybody's very quaint and hates black people, and they have all these other weird issues, right?
Hating black people is so quaint.
Thanks God we live in this quiet little white red mountain town.
Exactly. I lived in that town. It was in California. It was in Placerville, and I worked.
Did you know someone named Token?
No, I didn't, but that would have been perfect. But I did know when I was trying to be a 911 operator in this town that they said people will call 911 if there's a black person walking in parking lots or just walking around the town. They freak out and they will call the cops because, there's a black person there.
Oh my God, the black people got loose. And what are we going to do?
They're that
my
bad.
God.
Okay, so that's the town I lived in.
That is so terrible.
They all voted Democrat. They all loved their pot and their drugs and stuff, but they were also extraordinarily redneck and were very hateful. And
or at least they were getting high and not drunk, because typically when you're high, you're not going to go off,
I don't know. They were getting high. They were getting high on some really messed up stuff too there. But anyway, I worked at a daycare, and they were also super duper hippie people with very bigoted viewpoints.
Yep.
They did not get vaccinations. What happened at this daycare was there was an outbreak of whooping cough.
Oh my!
That's what happens when you don't vaccinate your fucking children.
And there was about 9
I got vaccinated
at school.
because when my oldest sister had her kids, I wasn't cognizant of it, and plus I was a little younger, and so I think my old vaccination, the original one you get, was still good. But one of my sisters had a baby last year, and I renewed my whooping cough vaccination. She didn't ask me to, but I was like, you know what? I'm in my 20s. I'm pretty sure I need to renew it. And I renewed it before her baby was ever born, because you know what? There's a few months when that baby cannot get vaccinated.
Infants. It was all infants.
Oh my God.
There were 8 or 9 of them at this particular
They can
school.
die. That is so fucked up.
I know. When I remember when I was going in to bring in all their bottles and stuff for that room, there was only like 2 or 3 kids in there because that many kids got sick.
I just can't believe that. That pisses me off so much.
That right there was a visualization for me of what vaccinations do. And I don't think people are exposed to that truth. They don't get exposed to that.
Well,
and
it's
so
like
you need to
if
understand
an adult,
you're hurting children.
If an otherwise healthy adult gets whooping cough, all they do is cough for a few months, and it makes a weird noise.
But when you're an
and
infant,
that's it.
you can't get through
if you're an infant or elderly, or if you're sick with
if you
anything
have a
else,
compromised immune system of some kind.
There you go. Scientific speak here. Yeah. Compromised immune system. And you get whooping cough, you're pretty much fucked. You could die so easily, and I just can't. That is such one of the basic ones, and I don't understand why people wouldn't get that vaccination.
Well, and then
I don't know why they won't get any of them.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Polio. That's the only thing you have to look at is polio. Like, it was gone, and then it's coming back because people are not,
I think it's because the dumbass people that are against vaccines don't have a memory of how fucking awful these diseases are.
Yeah.
And so they're like, why do we even need these? We don't have these diseases. And you're like, yeah, we don't have them because people vaccinate. That's why.
And the thing is, I've read more than a few articles about how in some third world countries that are still racked with like things like polio and measles and shit, and their kids grow up deaf or disabled because they get these diseases, they don't fall for this anti-vax stuff. Yeah. There are a few places where they have, just because they flat out lied and said, oh, they're actually giving your kid this disease and it's a genocide plan. They lie like that.
And often it's tied to some religious person,
it is often
too.
tied to religious persuasions. But when they go with the standard, like the arguments they use in America, when they go with those arguments, the people don't fall for it because they're like, well,
gee, would I rather that my kid die or potentially get autism? I think I'll go with the fucking chance of autism.
They're like, what's autism? And they explain it to them, and they're like, oh, that sounds way better than my child, like, getting polio or something.
But the thing is there is no
I would rather have an autistic child than a deaf.
No evidence.
Autism.
No evidence whatsoever, and we've done study
and
after study after study.
Not anecdotal evidence.
No.
Scientific
There have
evidence.
been scientific studies ever since that nutbag, released his...
What's his name? This is driving me crazy.
I don't know.
I usually know it.
But he was found guilty of fraud because of it, and they still believe it, and that's what drives me crazy.
Well, it's just the government trying to bring us down.
It's just a cover-up. It's a conspiracy. Blah,
Which
blah,
is
blah.
exactly what they do with the GMOs, and then what's the third one?
Yeah, what is the third one? Homeopathy!
Oh, God!
And they're big pharma conspiracies.
I got in a fight with my sister-in-law on Facebook about that.
It
was me and a boy, actually. He posted, he was mad. He saw, where were we, Walgreens or CVS? A pharmacy. Fucking pharmacy had homeopathy right there in the cold and sinus or whatever aisle. Right there next to real goddamn medicine.
And there was nothing there, right? Empty shelves.
Well, they want to make some money.
Yeah.
With homeopathy, it's actually the molecules you don't eat that are important.
Were there blueberries and strawberries there? I don't know.
But there was homeopathic remedies right there next to the real cold medicine. The stuff that actually does shit. So he took a picture and posted it on Facebook, and his sister got all mad and was like, I used homeopathic remedies for my son when he had colic. And I'm like, so I look up Wikipedia just to refresh myself because I wanted to make sure I was right. But basically, colic is what your doctor says your kid has when your kid's just fussy.
They can't figure out why they're crying.
Yeah. When they're fucking fussy or
teething. It's just a fussy kid. That's what
all
colic
it is.
It keeps crying. You've done, quote unquote, everything you could possibly think of, and it still keeps crying. I had that happen with Kylie once. I actually
That's what colic is. It's not an actual thing.
I videotaped her colic, quote unquote colic. because I think it was just something was bad and I couldn't figure it out. That's really what it boiled down to.
Yeah.
2
baby's
hours
like,
of
something's
Kylie freaking
uncomfortable.
out.
Yeah.
And
It's
the
just
thing
your
is,
baby being a troll. That's what colic is,
pretty
right?
much, because Kylie never cries.
In that case, my cat has colic. I should try some homeopathic remedies.
Well, Kylie still has colic then, because she's always been a troll.
I know, she is a little troll.
But I mean,
I love your daughter, though.
She never cried. She never cried. She was always just the most chill, most relaxed kid. There was this one moment in time where she cried for 3 hours straight, and the doctor said she was colicky. I think it was just that I couldn't figure out what the hell pissed her off, and it was something bad.
She told me last week, like, we talk on the phone, you know. She called me last week. She's like, yeah, Mom just, you know, she didn't change my diaper the way I like.
I didn't like the way the tab was positioned.
Yeah,
I was so mad.
I was so OCD about it. That's another...
It was bent backwards in a weird way that, like, you know how if you're wearing tight shorts and it leaves that, like, mark on your skin? It was like that. And she said it was really upsetting.
And she was just like, wham, for 3 hours for no reason.
But she couldn't put it in words until last week.
I was very
when
upset.
she called me.
I was very upset about it as a parent. I was like, oh my gosh, my child is crying and she doesn't cry normally. Oh my gosh, I'm a horrible parent. I'm freaking out. That was like the first 15 minutes. And then probably about an hour in, I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm stressed out.
Homeopathy.
I hate life. No, it wasn't homeopathy. I went and grabbed the camera. And I started videotaping it. And I'm like, so this is hour 1 into Kylie's random crying for no reason that I could figure out.
Did you put this on YouTube?
No.
Damn.
But I was just like, okay. And I kept on going back to the clock. Like, I would point to the child crying, and then I would point to the clock, like, here's the time now. I still can't figure this, you know, mystery out. That's what colic is.
Yeah,
it's
that's all it
hours
is.
and hours of not being able to figure out why your child is
like
screaming for no reason.
You know what pisses me off even more? Those fucking amber beads that people.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Hey.
That was one of our first, like, epic troll phenomena on Secular View.
I think on Facebook. Remember when I posted that thing on Facebook? I'm pretty sure that's when my sister-in-law blocked me.
When I
because she uses the goddamn amber necklace on her nephew, and I didn't realize it.
You weren't with Secular View yet, I don't think, but I posted it.
I wasn't.
I posted it on Secular View, and there was like a swarm of homeopathic.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna say something.
First of all, amber, whatever is in amber, cannot be released unless
by
it's
a baby
heated.
sucking on it.
No.
Or by it being on a baby's skin, or whatever the fuck they think is...
Whatever magical thing. I heard the warmth of the baby's neck, which is bullshit, because amber doesn't even melt or give off anything until like 500 degrees Celsius.
It's not scientific.
If your baby is 500 degrees Celsius...
It's dead.
Whatever ridiculous...
Your baby's dead.
Whatever ridiculous temperature it takes for amber to give off this
or
thing.
a lava superhero baby.
Or that. Your baby might be a superhero.
I'm gonna say, unless you have the baby...
That's another pseudoscience thing, actually.
Unless you have the baby from The Incredibles, your little amber necklace isn't gonna do anything for the kid.
It might break, and then your baby will choke on a bead.
And
Good
then
job.
die.
Good job.
Yeah.
I'm
sure it's rare, but the point is it doesn't do anything. Why would you put that
It's a
there
useless
anyway?
risk. It's a risk for no reason.
Right, exactly.
And they're like, oh, well, the necklaces are really strong, and oh, well, they only wear it when they're around me. You know what? I had a little girl choke on a fucking gumball one time. 4-year-old.
Okay.
She put it in her mouth right in front of me.
No. Do you want to know what I did when I was a kid? I was eating a Reese's. You know the Reese's Pieces?
Kids are dumb. They'll choke on anything.
Okay, you know the wrapper, the inside wrapper? I decided I can snort that up my nose. And
Kids do stupid
I stuck it up my nose, and it flared out, and it caused me not to be able to breathe out of my nose.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when
and
you stick
I had to
things
go to
up
the
your
doctor.
nose.
I had to go to the doctor to be able to breathe out of my nose again from the Reese's wrapper.
I
So
had a little
don't tell
girl.
me that kids don't do stupid shit. They do. And it's not their fault. They're kids. They're exploring. They're curious. They're trying
But when their
new
parents
things.
are doing stupid shit on top of it,
Right.
you've got a dead baby.
Problem.
And here's the
That's
thing.
a problem.
Like I said, I worked for years in a church nursery. I think almost 10 years at different nurseries.
That's
and
enough experience.
At all of them, the general rule in the baby room was no beaded jewelry, no earrings. The volunteers couldn't wear earrings because if that shit fell off, a baby would fucking eat it.
Yep.
They put everything in their mouth.
You shouldn't wear earrings in front of a kid anyway.
You shouldn't.
Because they'll fucking grab
They'll yank
it off.
out and then rip
they'll
your
pull it
earlobe.
out.
Yeah.
No.
But like, I guarantee, like, I never once saw a child come into that room with those goddamn amber things because they wouldn't be allowed. We would take them off. We'd be like, nope, you can't have this. Like, the older kids weren't even allowed to have sippy cups. Once you're out of the baby room, you can't have your own drink container because of health regulations.
Now, the thing is with homeopathy.
Homeopathy.
The thing is with it, a lot of people talk about natural stuff, and I will say this: there are natural things that can help you. There
Like
really are.
aspirin.
Right.
Yay, aspirin.
Right. And the thing is I've found natural quote unquote cures. Eating healthy food is good for you. Holy crap! That's really shocking. It's not homeopathy.
That's nutrition.
That's just nutrition.
Yeah, whole crap is really good for you.
Yeah, and I do know this is a really weird, and people call it homeopathy, but it's just something that's really cool. Apple cider vinegar is a cool thing to put in stuff. It does help with a lot of random different things. It has a lot of health benefits. It is not a replacement medication.
And the thing I have about the whole natural thing is I don't really understand what definition of natural they're using, because my definition is everything that exists in the universe.
Natural.
Arsenic is natural, but you
Arsenic is
shouldn't eat
natural.
You shouldn't put it in your body.
And it's like, technically, like, everything that humans synthesize,
to me,
it's still natural.
It's not supernatural.
No.
It's not supernatural. It's not pseudo-natural or
it's just
sub-natural. I mean, it's something that, I don't understand what definition of natural they're using.
Apple
I don't
cider
get it.
vinegar is always my go-to thing. Because they say that's natural. How is apple cider vinegar natural?
Yeah, how many...
It's processed.
I really can't stand it when people rail on about processed food. I'm like, every fucking thing you eat is processed unless you pick it off the ground and just eat it immediately.
Did you pull it out of the dirt and then manufacture it into
pulled my
whatever...
apple cider vinegar out of the dirt.
And then manufacture it into whatever form you're going to use it in?
No.
Then it's manufactured, dude. Get over yourself.
If you cook your goddamn food, and don't get me started on the raw food, people. Oh my god. If you cook your goddamn food, it's processed. So fuck you. And, like, if you buy a processor, you know what that is? A really powerful blender.
Yeah.
That's what a processor is. That's what processing
That's
does.
all it is. And,
oh my god,
and
I
honestly,
just hate it.
like, the thing is when a lot of people are trying to be healthy, that's good.
Yes.
That is a great thing for people to be focusing on, is being healthy. But when your focus on healthy is a quote-unquote natural, which is not actually what natural means.
There's no distinguishable definition for natural.
So
yeah,
you're
that's
just
my
coming up with
problem.
bullshit.
If you can't even quantify what you're talking about, like, how the fuck are you gonna test and measure it?
How much?
Are you even science, bro?
I just want to know, when it comes to medicine, like so-called natural medicines, when it comes to those, how much processing needs to be done before you consider it not natural anymore? Because I'm like, aspirin came from the fucking bark of a tree.
It's the bark of a willow tree.
And here's the other thing. When it comes to actual medicine, it's been tested. And they've gone through and tested the dosages, and they know exactly what all the side effects are, and they know exactly which medicines shouldn't go together because of all this testing. The supposed natural remedies and the goddamn vitamin supplements that are fucking useless. I mean, you're paying for expensive pee, people.
Basically.
You don't need to have that much vitamin C in your diet.
If it's water soluble, you're paying for expensive urine, and if it's fat soluble vitamins, then you're paying to potentially die from toxicity when you get too much of it in your system.
All I know is I understand hating on certain medications. Myself, I just recently got injured in my knee, and I needed to take pain medication, and
it's not working very well.
They recommended tramadol, and it made me itchy everywhere, all over my body for more than a day, and it sucked very, very bad, and I hated it. But that doesn't make me go, oh, I need to go and find me some natural remedies. No, that
it's
is
big
not.
pharma conspiring to make me itchy.
My body reacted differently to that medication, and if I want to get rid of pain, I have to go for something else.
Yeah, and I've had problems with tramadol as well. People have, and the thing is, other people it works great with their body. And you know why? Because everyone's body chemistry is a little bit different.
Yep.
And so
you need to find what works for you.
they're going to be a little bit different. The side effects are going to be a little bit different for everybody. And that's why you talk to your doctor. Call them if you're having a problem with your medicine and say, hey, when I take my medicine, this happens.
Hey, I had a weird
They'll
reaction.
help you.
Oh, okay, take this.
They don't want you to die. They don't want that malpractice on their hands.
What drives me crazy is all of this shit could be prevented if people just had not even an advanced understanding of science, just a rudimentary understanding of the scientific method. And what drives me crazy is people use the scientific method whether they're aware of it or not.
Right.
I mean, the scientific method is just you look at the world, you notice shit, you come up with an idea of why that shit is happening, then you test that in a way that lets you limit the factors that are going in, and either you prove that that's what's happening or you don't. People do that shit all the time. If you try to start your car and it doesn't work, you don't try to pray to make it start. You don't try to tap the wheels in the right place like it's reflexology and shit. You test different parts of the car to see what's broken.
And you take it to the expert.
And if you can't figure out what's wrong, you take it to an expert who's been trained to get your car to work.
And you pay them money, and they fix it, and it works.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate pseudoscience. Fuck it.
Wait, we haven't even done the fourth one.
Oh, do we have a fourth one?
Whatever.
What is it?
It's just creationism.
Creationism is dumb.
We'll do a whole damn show on creationism.
Creationism is dumb. There, I said it. All right.
Creationism equals dumb.
Yeah,
but
there you go.
That's the fourth
That's all we
part.
need to know.
Yeah.
Pseudoscience, I hate it.
It's just like, I don't know. I consider myself a scientist. I'm going to school for psychology. I'm almost done with my undergraduate. And it's a science. It's more and more so now that we're getting into all the neuroscience and shit like that when it comes to psychology.
It started out a little...
It started out as a pseudoscience. I won't even deny that. Freud, the problems with Freud...
And that's held against you nowadays for some unknown reason.
Yeah. The problem with Freud, and the reason why nobody believes pretty much any of his theories now, is because it was pseudoscience.
Right.
It was non-falsifiable.
People hold Freud against us nowadays. People will be like, well, Freud said this, and I'm like...
Well, you're a dumbass.
How long ago that was?
People ask me about Freud all the time, and they find out I'm a psychologist, so I'm like, dude, we don't believe Freud anymore.
Yeah, Freud
we
is
know
kind
Freud's
of
a jackass.
We know he started a lot of what we're accomplishing now.
The only thing we owe Freud are his defense mechanisms are still useful to some degree, but we still acknowledge that there's no scientific basis for them.
Right.
And yeah, he's pretty much the father of psychology.
Right.
Those are his two only claims now.
As far as I know, he's like the first person who even tried to study it. So
basically,
that's
thank you for that.
Father, quote unquote, of it. But that does not mean he has brought anything.
No, we don't.
We
don't use anything that Freud believes in, and
Nothing.
for that matter, any of his disciples really, because people are all. I don't know why people trash Freud and then they praise Jung, and Jung is just as fucking crazy as Freud is.
Yeah, I agree.
But no, I mean, psychology started out as pseudoscience because it was stating things that were non-falsifiable, which is the same problem with religion.
Right.
If you can't falsify something, then it's not science.
But we can admit that it started out BS and that we have actual evidence for things now.
It was the drive to prove things were actually happening. It's because people like Skinner and Watson were like, man, fuck Freud. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. This isn't science.
Oh my gosh, and that's how science
And then
works.
we got behaviorism, and behaviorism was the start of science and psychology. And ever since then, now we're on to, like, fucking neuroscience and shit.
Was Skinner the one who did that Albert experiment?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay, that's why I remember his name.
Horrible experience.
We didn't,
you know that little boy died?
Yeah, I know.
He didn't die from the little
Not from the experiment. No,
yes.
I don't want people to think he didn't die from the experiment.
It was still a horrible experiment.
But we didn't have ethics boards back then.
No, ethics was not around.
They were like, just throw shit at the kid, and we'll write down his reaction.
But that's an example of how the desire to actually know how the universe works, or in this case, how the human mind works,
which is in the universe.
Yeah. If that's your ultimate goal, even if you start out from pseudoscience, you're going to have to make your way to science in order to accomplish anything. On that note, be sure to join us next week, Friday at midnight. Don't forget to like Secular View on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Spreaker for all the latest stories published throughout the week. Also, like Dirty Nerdy on Facebook.
Yeah, bitches, because I'm awesome.
If you have any questions for the Shethinkers, you can email us at secularshethinkers@gmail.com. Today's episode has been brought to you by Bill Nye the Science Guy, making kids excited about science since 1993.
I have to sing a song.
Okay.
And he's going to be on the Dancing with the Stars.
He's going to be on Dancing with the Stars, so you have an excuse to watch it now. And I have to sing the song. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill Nye.
I love that show. All right.
And now, in the interest of being fair and balanced, oh, fuck it. We're playing another Symphony of Science song. Good night.
It's amazing to consider that I'm holding in my hands the place where someone once felt, thought, and loved. For centuries, scientists have been battling to understand what this unappealing object is all about. What the object is all about.
Here is this mass of jelly you can hold in the palm of your hand. And it can contemplate the vastness of interstellar space. Contemplate the vastness. The
brain has evolved from the inside out. Its structure reflects all the stages through which it has passed.
Information in the form of energy streams in simultaneously through all of our sensory systems in the form of energy. And then it explodes into this enormous collage of what this present moment looks like, what it feels like, and what it sounds like. It explodes into this enormous collage. And in this moment, we are perfect. We are whole, and we are beautiful.
It appears rather gruesome, wrinkled like a walnut, and with the consistency of mushrooms, like a walnut.
What we know is encoded in cells called neurons, and there are something like 100 trillion neural connections. This intricate and marvelous network of neurons has been called an enchanted loom. An enchanted loom. The neurons store sounds too, and snatches of music. Whole orchestras play inside our heads. 20 million volumes worth of information is inside the heads of every one of us. The brain is a very big place. It's a very small space.
Information in the form of energy streams in simultaneously through all of our sensory systems in the form of energy. And then it explodes into this enormous collage of what this present moment looks like, what it feels like, and what it sounds like.
No longer at the mercy of the reptile brain, we can change ourselves. Think of the possibilities.
Think of your brain as a newspaper. Think of all the information it can store, but it doesn't take up too much room because it's full. Think of all the information it can store.
We see with the eyes, but we see with the brain as well. And seeing with the brain is often called imagination. The brain can contemplate the vastness. The brain has evolved in successive stages.
And then it explodes into this enormous collage. And in this moment, we are perfect. We are whole, and we are beautiful.
It is the most mysterious part of the human body, and yet it dominates the way we live our adult lives. It is the brain.